But now I hit record.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, okay, now everything
Do
is
your
like...
intro, Brian. Go.
Ugh. See, I'm glad now I wasn't here wearing the headphones there. That would have been horrible.
Hi, welcome to another episode of...
Really?
Start with the ASMR.
This is part 2 of... Oh, is that what we're doing?
That put me on edge just now, and I don't even have headphones on. That's not good.
Anyways, this is definitely not the same day of the previous episode.
You're not wearing the same shirt. I'm not wearing the same
shirt,
hoodie.
just
So
happened to be
no,
there.
don't forget what you see.
It's a week later. We are welcomed by... Well, no, wait. Anyways, long story short, we got some beautiful people in here today. We have Anthony Gibson, I was going to say
Hashtag.
also known as Golden Gambit,
use
and
that.
we have also Abby from Motor City
Hi.
Nerds
Thank you for
sitting with
having me.
us. I hope to have a lovely
she-
conversation.
She is back.
She's back after
Yeah.
a long year and I don't know,
God.
long time,
Very long
You know.
time.
a couple of summers.
Costumes
ago.
were worn the last time, I believe.
Yeah,
Yes.
And it was
Halloween.
there's less dogs and less possibility of getting shot.
I'm telling you, my mom really was like, you don't know about the wild dog situation? And I'm like, I know that you had dogs that used to go run the neighborhood with a pack of wild dogs and come home, and you thought that was normal, but it's not. And she was like, you don't know shit because you're not from the city about the wild dog issue. And she was like, ask anybody. And then everybody from every part of the city was like, oh no, the wild packs of wild dogs are a real thing, Ab. You got to look out. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
oh shit, they're coming out. Yeah, they're coming at you.
Yeah, no.
Suburban shit you don't know.
We're slightly getting to a nicer place, nicer studio every year.
I like your guys' setup.
I hope this
I like that
trajectory.
Also, you guys don't do the swapping shirt method?
What do you mean? So?
Oh,
Like in the
when
middle- like in the
if I'm
middle
gonna
of a-
record, like I'll just go back to back to back to back, and I'll just start with like barely any makeup and a hoodie, and then I'll take that hoodie off and then
get
add
your
some
shirt.
makeup on, and then I'll do that video, and then I'll
Oh.
like put a hat on and change my shirt, and then put a little bit more on, and then I'll just film back to back to back, and I just pretend like I didn't do that.
Wow.
I was going to say we haven't...
Spoiler alert for
You know.
nerds.
If you just see me proceedingly getting more and more makeup on and putting layers on my head to cover my hair and layers coming off my body. One time I had like a onesie on in one video, and then I took that off and I like wrapped it around my waist, put a hoodie on, did that, and then took it off right around, and then did another one. Didn't remember that. Went to the gas station and my shit got like stuck in the door. I just made a total. Long story short, I made a total fool of myself, and I was like, "What the?" And then they were like, "You got a tail." Some stranger. I'm like, "What do you mean I got a goddamn tail?" And then I was like, "Oh, I got that onesie hanging off me. I got all this shit on."
You think you're getting hit on? What do you mean I got a tail, sir?
Right? No, exactly, man. The gas station's a treacherous place. The second anybody says anything, you're like, "Yeah, okay, bozo," and then you're like, "Wait, no." I really do
They
have
might
an
be
issue.
right.
Right? Yeah.
That should be us like in the middle of a show. One day we'll just like hit intermission, 30 seconds, everybody swap clothes. Or change something.
I'm like in a fucking
Shirt
extra
swap?
small shirt. I'm
Like-
ripping that bitch.
All right, we're back. Nothing. Just keep going. Keep
Hell
chugging
no,
along.
dude.
Or no, I remember. Wasn't that like a month or two ago? There was that Twitch meta that people were like putting the black
bar.
the black bar over their tits or whatever because they're like
Yeah.
getting banned or whatever. People were showing off too much skin.
Yeah, people were going
Something
nuts
like
about that for a minute on Twitch.
Oh, I know.
They were, they can't do that. I'm like,
They can do whatever they want.
I'll tell you guys what sells.
I wanted to do it just because, like, just wear something.
Yeah, Mario was
just
going to
like,
stream with a black bar.
Oh, that's funny.
Just do it.
Well, I'm just like, how do you enforce that? You know what I mean? How do you
know.
start to enforce that? Because I'd be fighting that shit. I'd be going, this some bull.
yeah.
I know, like as I mentioned off air that we got like our last episode nuked on YouTube because 30 seconds of WWE footage that was too spicy for YouTube. They're like, nope, can't, and blocked completely from everywhere.
You know, it's
Had-
crazy
had a
that
lot of
shit
fun
like
with
that happens, but then people can have whole ass channels talking reckless. You know what I mean? Like, it blows my mind because then I'll be like, this person is like not only monetized, but people are sending you money. I'm like, you're a monster.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm worried about some shit. I'm worried about Disney's logo popping up in the wrong place. Get out of here.
I know, and they gave me the option to like appeal it or whatever, but then it's like, okay, but if you do that and it doesn't work, then you get a copyright strike.
Yes.
I'm like, I'd rather just not wait
Yeah,
like
claims-
4 days to like get an answer.
4
I
days
need to
to get
go.
a strike.
Yeah, claims
No.
you're semi-okay if you're not worried about the money you're making. I don't think any of us are that stressed about the money we're getting off of YouTube at the moment.
0
but
cents.
Right. I'm glad I got 67 cents in 3 months. I
want my
really
Facebook
appreciate
money,
that.
damn it. Where's that? We missed that.
Facebook
That was really
demonetized
good.
me. But anyway,
Yeah,
no, I'm
same
just,
us.
it's just, yeah, man. I'm like, this is some bull, man.
That'd be all right.
Piss me off.
You guys are going to give us contracts then, bitch. No.
Let's just start talking reckless. I say that all the time. I'm like, I could just pivot and start
You know
saying
what I don't
right-wing
like
insanity.
about?
You know what really grinds my gears? No.
Yeah, I'd just be like, women are the worst. We are god-awful.
Oh my God, you should have seen that.
Just go full Andrew Tate.
I was talking about like I don't condemn violence against women. I was like, wait a minute, let me rethink what I just said.
I don't condemn.
I was like, let me rephrase what I just said. I meant
Beat the shit out of them.
Violence against women is not okay.
Yeah, I really do. I'm like, should I just have my titties out and start talking about like women should not have their titties out. They should in fact be
Start giving a
pristine.
moral speech about
Yeah,
that.
I'm like, I could do that. And then if I could convince that Pearly to box me, I'm telling you, that's my go-to. Is like back when the big fighting stuff was happening on YouTube. I'm like, if I could just, it's like a Rocky situation. If you can convince somebody big enough to fight you, and then be like, well, it helps me either way. You're going to promote my channel, like, oh, you
might get my ass kicked, but
so yeah, you might be a scumbag, but I'm like, God, that'd be great. I'd love to box somebody like that. That'd be amazing. Just like, but that because I'd end up like spitting in their eye or something. I'd be like, I hate you. I hate you and everything you stand on. But at the end of the day, they look good. They give someone a shot.
Right? Should we do that for the podcast or like or game it maybe like for its music? Like I will box if it promotes my your new EP
Man,
or something. No,
I'm saying, dude, if you guys get it, if someone was like, post this video you eating shit or something, I would do it for the clicks. I would. There's been more than one thing where I'm like, God damn, if I would have got that, that would have helped tremendously. Might not have been the demographic.
Next, two girls, one
but
cup.
it got out there.
Oh, not the 2 girls, 1 cup.
Two girls.
No.
Dude, that's what we've been calling my episodes.
Is it really?
No, we've been calling them 2 girls, 1 episode, and that's what when we go live after. We've been doing it with True Detective, but we're gonna do it with more stuff. But I'm like, what do we don't even know what we're calling. It literally went from, do you want to just go live and talk about this on my channel for me? And we did, and I was like, what should we call it? What do we call it? And I was like, two girls, 1 episode. And if people get the reference, that's cool. And if not,
2 girls, 1 cam probably work too.
oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a tricky one too. Because how pissed would you be if you clicked on a link that said that you're an 18-year or like not 18, like a 13-year-old boy, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be something, and then it's just me and my friend in hoodies being like, True Detective, motherfucker. Stop being mean to indigenous people, fuckers, and then be nice to women, you fucking assholes.
That should be a name of like a podcast or something.
Man,
2
no.
girls, 1 cam.
Oh, that'd be dope.
We really lived in a reckless time. Do you know how many beheadings and shit we watched? Did you guys do that?
To this day, have you not
To
been on
this
Instagram?
day, really, to this
Look
day.
at Instagram, it's just like, oh, you
Man.
want to see some shit?
Yeah,
Here's a family of 4 getting killed. by
Maybe that's
somebody.
why we're so like, we got demonetized. What the fuck? And it's like, do you know what we
And
lived
then-
through?
Right.
Faces of Death.
Oh my God.
Downloaded to our LimeWire.
Is it bad? Is it bad if you think about each war? You're like, okay, wait, Russia, Ukraine. Will there be a video? Gaza or Israel? It's like, no, I
my
don't do that.
God.
But it's just like, I bet someone's out there like, all right, who's next?
Me and my ex in high school walked into the Sprint store on, not in high school, it had to be like maybe a year after. Either way, we were probably above the age of adulthood and shouldn't have, it was funny, but it was dumb. He went in and it was when smartphones and shit first came out, and he went in and put 2 girls, 1 cup on every screen. Just went through the whole store and did it. Yeah, shout out Eugene. That was fun. That was funny. That was a funny one you did. But yeah, and that shit was just readily accessible. You know what I mean? That was like on YouTube. That's what I mean, YouTube.
Yeah.
Stop. Let's stop acting like you guys. What? Come on. Do you know how much jacked up shit we watched on here? Chill. You need to calm down. Let Vince McMahon say the N-word in a clip. It's. I don't know if that's appropriate.
What's good in the hood?
I don't know if that one's fully appropriate, but
And then the guy at the end, he's like, you did not hear what this man just said.
Oh, yeah, you got Booker T in the back.
Yeah, Booker T.
right.
Yeah, it was Booker T.
How did-
Yeah.
Like, imagine being Booker T. He was probably like, do we really got to do this bit? But it's the 2000s and the 90s and the 80s. We're okay with
2000s,
it.
it was okay. Dude.
Yeah, we went through a really weird time of going like, this isn't okay. Like right before we started really cracking down on like shit we shouldn't be saying to people or maybe educate yourself, there was a weird period of time where it was like balls to the wall.
Yeah, it
Here we
was.
go. Here we go. Vince McMahon's dropping the N-bomb in front of Booker T. That sounds nuts.
Yeah,
like,
it does. But it was his
imagine it.
walkout. It was his walkout afterwards, though.
Oh, yeah, with the fucking do-rag.
Yeah.
Right! Like, oh my God!
Pants and shit.
Shout out Booker T. Oh my God! Like, really imagine it. Imagine if I came to you guys and was like, "Hey, I want to do a bit, but I'm gonna just really go hard. Like, not even like insinuate something. I'm gonna go hard. I would hope somebody would be like,
it'll definitely get some views.
I don't know, Ab. I don't know if White Lady Tears will get you out of this one. I don't know.
This one.
Right?
This one.
Not this one.
There are certain things you can't
Certain
use.
things.
You can't use the powers for. It's awful. It's terrible.
What the fuck?
But it's real.
Oh, yeah, we were still at the intro. What was I talking
Oh,
about?
sorry.
Was this? That's a 10-minute intro, by the way.
Hi, welcome to the Legal Aliens podcast. I'm taking over. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke.
What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, I forgot what I was
I don't know.
saying.
Booker T, Vince
We got
McMahon saying the
distracted
N word,
with the
white lady tears,
Yeah, white lady tears.
white lady tears. Yeah, you know. I'm glad that's getting called out, honestly. Because, like, I mean, because it'd be, I really am. Because I'm just like, it got used on me too. Where it'd be like, I'd be like, you're all just taking her side because she's 5'1" and fucking blonde and crying, and I just look like a scary god. I'm gonna fuck them up even more now. So I'm like, on times 10 towards men or people of color or whatever. I'm like, no, call this shit out because we're the worst. We're the worst. We're honestly the worst.
What was I just saying on the last episode, not an hour ago? About the demographic of America. Oh. If you can conquer white women
No, it's a
spending
rap.
money,
He's a rap.
it's a rap,
Dunzo.
bro. If you have them on
If
your
you can
side,
get here,
you can make serial killers look good.
I'm not to get like super political, but I'm telling you, white women were where women fucked up the most was when you guys cut all other women out and said let's just be white ladies because I'm like kind of left our other ladies behind, but you fucked up there for real. And I'm like, you know how much stronger we'd be if we all would have stuck together. If you would have included like women of color and shit in this, we'd be unstoppable by now. But instead, you had to do your fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Now we got Taylor Swift.
Well, I was gonna say like
We just need like 2% of the Swifties, and we're going to be 2%.
I talk about that where especially I mean.
And we
Yeah.
It kind of ties in because True Detective right now, it's the first time it's been female led, and I do feel like it's getting critiqued harder because it's ladies. But I'm like, it's Jodie Foster, so why don't you all just sit the fuck down? How about that? Like this shit wouldn't be happening if it was for Jodie Foster in 1990 with Silence of the Lambs. But I say this all the time. I'm like, it's more acceptable in society to attack or make. When do you turn on SNL when we were younger and see them making fun of something little boys liked? Like you'd never really. It wasn't as prevalent as making fun of Frozen or Sailor Moon or some shit like that. And I try to tell people, I was like, it's because ladies run shit. I was like, we are like the second highest demographic to buy stuff, to support stuff. If you can get all women in, like I was saying, we fucked up before. White ladies, you fucked up. But as a media and shit that I cover. If you can get all women in, like Sailor Moon, like that's easily one of the most iconic. But like I said, that doesn't. But Swifties, all that shit. If you can get little girls and ladies on board, Frozen, Moana. How many goddamn shirts have people had to buy for that? You know, like
Still to this day.
those are the powerhouses, and they really are. I'm like, no, they run shit. Britney Spears, even back in the day, like compare that to the shit that was going, even in sync and stuff. At the time, I'm like, what else was that? And I'm like, but nothing was as big as that shit. I'm like, if you can get white ladies in, but if you can get all ladies in. It's a fucking unstoppable market.
Anthony, I'm telling
Freed up.
That's
You're freed
right.
up, bud.
I know, right?
Make it happen.
Those new.
I got to market differently, huh?
Go full thirst trap.
Definitely.
I highly recommend it.
Definitely marketing, man. Next album cover, you're shirtless.
Oh, yeah. Some baby oil.
Yeah.
Have
Go all
a fake
in.
tattoo that says I like white women.
Oh, God. Yeah. We'll tie it all together.
Golden glitter.
Golden glitter is wild, bro.
I love that. Probably because I'm a white lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, we're getting so far helping you.
Yeah.
We got this.
No. Yeah. Seriously, though. I would lean right into it.
It would be dope.
Pause.
Maybe get a Taylor Swift shirt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You'll really attract him then.
Oh, shit. New T Swift wave.
Oh,
That's that and then the that's his brother, Travis Kelce fade thing were the most absurd things to come out of this.
Oh, yeah. They were
Like
giving him
that had to be a
credit for
joke,
fade.
right? There's no way. There's no way. I know some super white people. And they would know better than to go like, you know what I
Let me get the
mean?
Travis
It's not like a
Kelce.
fade is new,
Right.
Like,
Literally, Travis Kelce just said, "I'm gonna go to her concert and give her a friendship bracelet." This is my way of saying, "Hey."
you know, that's insane to
apparently
think.
It worked.
I really don't mind
Okay.
it, but I'm just like the fade thing was crazy to me when I woke up to that on the internet. I was like, oh my god,
You're
no,
gentrifying the fade.
oh no, that's got to like. But that's got to be them going like a power move, right? Like, look at us put this absurd shit in our real
NFL
publication.
script don't lie.
It's conspiracy theory. NFL needed a new demographic to get to, and they're like, "We got it now."
That's a
Or
thing
like
too.
our sales on T-shirts is going down. We got to get white women to buy shirts.
Well, look at like even speaking of this, like even look at like Rolling Loud. Like I look at that shit and I'm like, this crowd looks awfully pale. And I'm just like, I get young people are always going to be attracted to music and or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that is the one you want to aim for, right? Like, you're like, let me get these.
I mean, if you look at it,
kids.
that also discovers you kind of peel back the biggest problem that there is, that mostly young white people have more spending power than minorities.
Right, exactly.
And that's a whole nother conversation.
No, exactly.
Too.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
wait a
who can
minute,
spend
they
money to
have
go to
the
a festival?
Yeah, they have the spending power to go to a festival.
Yeah.
That's true.
But that's why I'm like...
that's a whole nother
Well, that's why I got into it with people when the Travis Scott thing happened. I was like, don't act like this is new. I'm like, don't act like this shit is new. This has been going on in crowds for eternity, first and foremost. But they did the same thing to rock and roll. They did the same thing with the Satanic Panic. They do that shit all the time and then go, oh, be scared or be afraid. But now, specifically with hip-hop being targeted, you're swinging at a specific demographic of people. And then I'm like, look at the crowd. What are you talking about? Like, you're coming at these people's side. But I'm like, get real. Let's get real now. Hip-hop's scary. Okay. Yeah. So was rock and roll, and so was everything else. Elvis was scary.
The Beatles were scary.
Right.
Oh, a white man from British culture.
Liverpool?
Liverpool, yeah.
That's the best sounding one they got. Other than that, it's like, you just sound like a bitch. I don't care where you're from. I'm sorry. I don't care where you're from. If you have a British accent, you ain't shit. Come on, man. Like, I'm serious. I mean, come on.
So she's not into grime music, is what she's saying. The grime genre.
I'm just saying.
One of many that we discussed.
We go out. We all go out. All of us go out, all right? Okay. And we're at the bar, and someone really tries to step into us, and then we hear they have a British accent. Tell me we're all not honing in on that shit. Tell me we're all not going to go, yeah, okay, crumpets. Why don't you get the fuck out
What
of
are you
here?
doing here, Kermit the Frog?
Right. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. You lost the Revolutionary War. Go home.
Wrong side of the pond, bitch.
Come on, it's one of the three quick math.
Right. The wrong side of the pond, bitch. Like, we'd just hone in on that. They would too if we were over there. But they'd be like, but we have the reputation for being arrogant, loud pieces of shit. So they probably
just mad
avoid
because
us.
now they're the losers.
They are losers.
They're number
fuck,
2 now.
Fuck the British royal family. Fuck those empirical bastards. I ain't got no time for it. And I don't want to hear no shit with my Irish ass. I really don't. Speaking of Oppenheimer, because they were talking about that prior to recording.
Speaking of nuking my
Did you guys see what?
wait a minute.
This got me geeked. I got
Wait a
geeked
minute.
because he's from Northern Ireland, so they still got mad beef, and rightfully so. Occupying sons of bitches, British pigs. But they would arrest. They'd arrest people in Northern Ireland if they had their hands in their pockets and they thought they were anything. Like they would just get flicked for. They'd be like, "You're in the IRA, or you're trying to pull a gun on us, or some
like
shit."
a black man in America.
Exactly. So when Cillian Murphy met Prince whatever the fuck at the premiere or the Golden Globes or something, he made a point to not shake his hand and keep his hands in his pockets, and I was like, I already know this is some Irish British shit, but the fact that you went that far with it and like didn't even explain it, if you just know, you know, I was like, I love you so much. I love this. I love it so much. You badass. That's great. I hate
What I find
British.
wild too is that they released Oppenheimer in Japan, bro.
What?
You know,
They're over it.
They
What
got the
a-
sequel, bro. They got the original and the sequel.
seriously though. I mean, do you guys want to hear something nuts? Is that you guys know like the scene in Jaws when he says he was on the SS Indianapolis that shipped the bomb over? It's like the big thing Quint says, and he's like, yeah, I was there, and then it goes down, right? My grandpa was really supposed to be on that boat, like for real, and got in a huge fight with them. It was like, no, I'm supposed to be on this boat with all my friends. Like, I'm supposed to be here. And they were like, no, dude, your paperwork is jacked up. You got to go back to wherever, in San Diego or something. And he was like, no, I want to go. Like, he was really fighting to get on that boat. And I'm like, imagine if you did, dude. Imagine if you did. You probably would have been eaten by a shark or some other awful shit. Like, oh my God, that's crazy to think about. But I just am like, do you ever really get over something like that happening, Japan? Like, that's rough, man. I don't know if I'd really be like, it did happen, so I wouldn't be.
That is rough.
But it's like, ugh, rough, man. That's past rough, you know?
That's extremely rough.
Yeah. Like, what? I don't think there's a word for it.
It's called August 6th. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you guys like Christopher Nolan? I mean, we all like The Dark Knight.
I fuck with
Which
it.
one is your favorite for real? Because I feel like Rises doesn't get the credit it deserves.
I go with the Dark Knight.
I mean, Bane's
Knight.
coat. Bane's coat alone elevates that
Bane's
movie.
sweet.
The coat alone.
Oh.
Just Tom Hardy in that
You
coat
think-
elevates the movie. I don't care what anybody says.
You think darkness is your ally?
Man, it's good.
Classic.
That was the greatest quote at Ford anybody ever said. My buddy Omari, he had a giant hoist on his job, and the union was trying to force him to run the job without it and whatever. And then he just turned around and yelled down the line. He was a super quiet guy, big 6'4" dude, but really quiet. And he just yelled and probably went, I was wondering what would break first, my hoist or my body. And I was just like, oh, Maury, no, you didn't. And the union was like getting all pissy. I was like, that was a good joke. Like, we all got to admit that was a good one. That was good. Let me turn my phone down.
I mean, what was it? It was the war. It was that one with Dunkirk, right? Was
Dunkirk was very good.
Dunkirk was pretty good. I saw that
The one
in
that he
theaters.
made. That was really good. I took my dad to the theater to see it because he's a big war guy too.
Oh, yeah.
It was very fun.
Oh, are one of you a war guy or what? Or I didn't know if that was...
My dad's like, he has a lot of...
Oh, you know who you're going to take or you know who you're going to buy
Yeah.
Band of Brothers for at Christmas. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my uncle. Yeah. No, I got it. I was just curious. I didn't know if there was a pre-existing thing here when you were like, he's a war guy. I'm like, oh, did we talk about
I don't know
wars?
if you know this, but his family's German.
Oh, it's okay. My Mick Kraut friend. Me too.
Okay. No.
Oh, wait. Are you saying something gross?
No, he's from Argentina.
Oh, I was going to say, aren't one of you from... Yeah, what are we talking about here? I was going to say soccer was a big deal to you guys. So,
It still is. We won a World Cup.
It's
We
normally
won the last
like
World
50-50.
Cup, baby.
You meet somebody from Southwest, it's a 50-50 shot, though. It's like either they're fully involved with that shit. It's like, I don't fuck with that.
It's funny.
We all just get our hair cut at
No,
New
but like the running joke is that because Argentina was like kind of sort of buddies with Germany in the war.
Oh, no, a lot of them went there, didn't they, to hide?
Yeah,
They
they all
dipped
hid.
out. Yeah.
It's a running joke that I call
Yeah, okay. No, I really am.
They all hid and started families there, and they were like, "Oh, he's the
I forgot about that. Yeah.
No proof, by the way. Thank you.
No proof.
Not yet.
None.
No proof.
I still need that 23andMe.
Yeah.
Or
Shout out to
what's
that
the one that
company.
isn't sketchy? I don't know.
23andMe is actually going under, I think I heard.
Oh, speaking of like current events and shit and genealogies, anybody following that Idaho 4 shit?
That one?
The murders?
Are you talking
God!
about the college? kids,
Yeah,
right?
and they
No.
caught him through like doing shit with his family's DNA. I'm like, I think it's bull. I don't think he did it. I think he was there, but I don't think he did it. I really don't. I want to talk about money and corruption and power and Whitey McWhites, frats.
Manny White, you said Oregon.
Frats.
So I thought-
Literally, all I know is
Right.
Ain't no black people in Oregon.
Idaho. Nothing's in
right.
Idaho. But that's
Not
what I
even
mean.
people.
Just potatoes.
Yeah, there's no reason to go to Idaho. None.
Unless
I
you
go
wanna
just
get
to like
killed.
the scenery, but that's really about
Really,
it.
why are we going to Idaho? I'm having a wedding. You all get invited and have to come. You can't even make a long weekend out of that shit. For real. What are we
Be
doing
one
in Idaho?
afternoon, and then you get the fuck.
It's literally like an afternoon, and then I'd go to Washington or Oregon. And then basically,
Right,
that'd be my
exactly.
thing.
What are we doing here?
Stone to get to the good stuff.
There's nothing there, but it's nuts. There's a ton of crazy theories on it, but that's how they arrested him, was the genealogy thing. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that government. And then when you look into it, I'm like, oh, this is just Jaws. Let's blame the outsider. And like I said, we want to talk about Whitey McWhite's frats, sororities. They're like, that's a fear I have. I'm afraid going. I remember being out at East Lansing and at U of M and shit. I was even like, not only is this rape central with all this Greek shit going on, but like I don't think I'm welcome here. I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. But no, it's wild how they caught him. It is. It's nuts. It's definitely some corruption and shit going on. That's for sure. Do you think you should be able to get flicked if they test your mom's DNA out of the garbage and it pings somebody in your family?
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
No family
That's
history here.
Right. Crazy,
Same.
right?
I have zero family history here, so
I mean,
helps a lot when you're the starting.
hopefully
person.
you don't slaughter 4 people in their beds because,
Right.
yeah, if they try to get you, be like, that's bullshit because
I have no
my family, in fact, has nothing on file. So how did you do that?
Literally nothing.
Nothing.
I was born from darkness.
I grew out of the ground.
Like a
Molded by it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That was beauty. I like that. But I was weird because I was just like, all I know is that some dude killed college kids in some dorm. And it was like,
No, it's nuts.
It's
Some
like
people think the
there's a
cartel
lot-
did it, and I thought that was bullshit. Until I
would
went
never
down that
find out.
rabbit
Yeah.
hole, and I'm like, wait, one of your dads has a direct connect to the Sinaloa cartel? And not only that, the way this house apparently was run, like there was an empty room with someone's name on a lease, and I'm like, you can't. At first, I'm like, come on, what the shit would the cartel want with Idaho? Exactly,
That's a good
Idaho.
hiding spot.
And that apparently they do this a lot in Mexico and shit. Like they'll take over a small town and they'll like literally be like, hey, you guys might be cool and normal, but we have this room and we stash shit in it, and they just take over the entire area. And one of their dads got flicked like 6 months after the murders for running an entire white supremacist gang out there, and was head of all the, I don't know what you can say on Twitch, shit moving through the area. And I was like, okay, maybe they did. But I was like, I don't know if the cartel would do this. I was like, I think they'd gut you and put you outside and go, look, nobody's going to touch me. I don't think it would be this. This sounds like angry boyfriend shit to me. But
Sounds like amateur work. They got caught.
right, it's just nothing adds up for it to be
You know how
this
many
guy.
people go missing
Let's
in
put it like this:
Mexico?
if somebody who was 6'4" or 6'5" came charging at us right now, what do you guys think the first description we'd remember is? Would it be their bushy eyebrows or the fact that they were 6'4"? And this chick, the only person who saw him says that he had bushy eyebrows and was 5'11". And I'm like, if I was 6'4", and nothing adds up with it. It's all very weird. It's all very strange. There's no blood trail.
I think
you gutted 4 people?
Eyebrows is the last thing I'm looking at.
Gutted them like fish. There's no blood trail, no nothing, nowhere. This is some bullshit. This is some frat boy money shit is what it is. This is some frat boy money shit.
Some white people spending money.
Exactly, man. The second I saw it, I was like, oh, this can't be that crazy. And then I look up, like, house that it happened in. I kid you guys not. One's up on a hill here. The frat house is right across the goddamn street. And all I could think was, you have no blinds. You're 4 women living together with no goddamn blinds. I would have already been terrified. Like, no dad could see that picture of that house and go, I really want my daughter to live here. Right behind all these frat houses.
In the fucking
with no blinds. No blinds. And I'm like, yeah, maybe they were moving shit and somebody flushed something, somebody fucked you up. I don't know, but I don't think it was this guy. I really don't. I think he might have been involved as like a driver or something, but I really don't think he did it. But I'm just like, would you guys be cool with that? Like them just hand picking your family and taking their garbage and shit and then going, we think we got you. I don't know if I'm okay.
Man, I'd be so mad.
Right. I'd be pissed. It's not like you even got me. You came and got shit off my mom or my dad. I'd be furious. I'd be so furious. I really would. But that's some real white people shit. Frats paying money to cover shit up.
Yeah, usually when you see any...
Bet you they're named Chet. Chet. You meet a Chet or a Chad, you're like, this is going to be 75% chance that you might try to murder me today.
Whenever you see, like, Dexter shows and stuff like that, it's like, they're white.
Yeah. No.
Like,
Did you guys ever see that video?
Where's the brother killer at?
That video that went viral of a mom telling her kid, like, what do you do if you get separated from me? And he's like, I go find a big black man. And people got all mad about it. And then she's like, no, because statistically, a man of color is less likely to hurt a kid. It is more likely to look out. And I was like, no, facts. That's true. Because Ted Bundy, all the big timers, all the big
Bundy
ones.
Don't know homo though.
No
homo.
All the heavy
Holy
hitters.
shit, he looking kind of.
I'm glad we get to claim those. You know, it's a good time. Jesus.
Man, we need some good minority serial killers around.
Yeah, where are the minority serial killers?
Where's the representation?
Well, even that, like if the Dahmer shit that was going, that was a huge thing with him was that he would target the black community because nobody gave a shit, and a couple of those moms stood by that shit and were like, no, some shit is on top of like a gay element being there, like especially back then, like it was probably like, no, we don't want to say nothing. And I'm like, good for you guys who still were like, get this asshole. My mom told me the other day she'd cover for me if I was a murderer, but as long as I wasn't eating them. And I was like, that's not.
That's a good
yeah, I was like, I knew what she'd say. And apparently this is wrong. But I was like, I trust my mom 1,000,000,000%. I know my mom would look. I could literally be a monster. My mom's going to look out for me. I'm her baby. It don't matter. She's going to wash clothes. She's going to destroy evidence. She don't give a fuck. Are you serious?
I mean,
somebody's like, I can't believe someone's parents did whatever. I was like, my mom would do 10 times that. Are you kidding me right now?
Keeping that same train of thought, it's like when you see a show like Dexter, right?
Yeah.
He's only killing bad people.
It's great.
Like, I'm actually behind that. Like,
yeah.
Why are we like pretending like that's a bad thing? Like,
speaking of this, let me ask you guys how you feel. My friend said this shit. I was like, Nicole, this is the most unhinged thing you've said. And we were talking about moving a body and how much money it would cost for us to move one. Like, on a live stream. I'm like, you have a real job. I'm like, you have a degree and shit. Like, should you be out? And she was like, at least $25K. And I was like, you're being nice. I don't know, but we were talking about that like a week prior on the internet, cheap. Like a lunatic. And she says to me yesterday, because that's the thing, Idaho's the last state left to have firing squads, and that's how they're going to kill this guy if they find him guilty. What? And I'm like, that's nuts. And then she goes, I would much rather have a firing squad. And I was like, then a shot that kills you? Are you out of your goddamn gourd? And she was like, no, well, and I was like, who's to say it will even kill you? I was like, because I guarantee they're going to want you to suffer or something. They're all going to aim low. You're going to be rolling around on the ground or some shit. Do you want not under? And she was really fighting that with me. She was like, have you ever seen what those do to people? And I'm like, no, because I'm not watching videos anymore of people dying. And I'm like, I don't know, but I think I'd rather have that shot than a firing squad. Would you rather die by firing squad or a shot? A literal shot of liquid into your veins.
And then I heard it like burns like fucking.
Oh God, yeah, because that's the worst thing coming is the burn. We're not about to die here. But literally, would you guys pick firing squad? Am I wrong?
I'd probably go with the firing squad.
Right. We're going out with be normal. Be normal.
Him and I are like, I want the instantaneous.
Yeah, but who's to say it's going to be instant?
Yeah, scratch up on a ball. When they go to aim, be like,
Oh, good. I mean, I don't know how that works. That's some medieval shit, though. That is no, but yet I did.
Electric chair is some medieval shit.
That's crazy.
That's rough.
That would be the worst.
That's on.
Oh, there's still hanging, and then you got the electric chair.
Yeah,
it's gonna be one of the
hanging
two.
is kind of crazy.
Hanging, I think I'd accept. If I was from a high enough distance, I'd have to see the platform first. Do you think they ask the prisoner, like, can I see the venue
What
first?
type of wood do you want to stand in?
Before I perform, I would really like to see the venue. Thank you.
Can I meet the carpenter?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just. It's crazy.
Why now? This is like. Why am I throwing this back to you? You've seen Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the guy who was about to hang Robin? He's like, he was showing him like the different kind of rope, or like, would you like it this way?
Yeah. No, that is
Like,
it.
you want this kind of rope?
No, I am a fan of things like that and like Monty Python and stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
not. It's not like my thing, so I do mix them up, and then I get called out by the movie community. But no, yeah, that shit is wild to me. And I said that to my mom like a week ago, like 2 weeks ago. I go, "Would you cover for me if I was a murderer?" And I knew she'd say yes, but I just didn't expect her to turn and go, "As long as you weren't eating them." And I was like, "That's where we draw the line." That's where we draw the line, is if I'm eating them. And then I was like, "Okay, and then she goes, well, you couldn't keep doing it, Ab." And like it's a bad habit on the weekend or something. Like I just,
it's you doing,
like I binge
smoking
drink
weed
or
and shit.
something. Well, you can't keep doing it, Ab. And I'm like, okay, Mom. Like that's
She's
yeah.
assuming you're already doing it on the
Right, exactly. And I'm just like, whatever. But yeah, somebody said I was crazy for saying that. They're like, well, Brian Laundrie's parents covered. And I was like, my mom would be destroying evidence left and right.
Stop.
She'd be renting me cars. Are you serious? You out
Trying
of
to
your
send you
mind?
to AA.
Yeah.
Chilling.
1,000,000,000% my mom would cover for me. She would, unless I'm eating them. So you guys will know if she snitches me out, it'll be because I have a
She
We'll
was
find out.
fucking eating them.
Like, Mom.
Why'd you snitch? You were eating them.
Yeah, I told you once. Don't eat them.
Mishandle liquor.
Him missing.
Yeah.
It was missing a foot. They know it was you.
Sometimes I think about that too, like their generation. How did you even make it this far? Because I'm a lady and I'm scared, and I have like a phone to call 911.
Right.
I'm like, how did you guys make it, Mom?
Just
Like,
the walking shit all the time.
yeah, it's crazy shit. Wasn't I talking to you guys about the Feliz Navidad guy?
Oh.
He was dating a girl my mom's grade at Holy Redeemer. It's
Oh,
dude,
no.
does anybody know it?
Uh-oh. This is...
I'm telling you, this is a real thing. This is a real thing. He showed up to play in the church at Holy Redeemer, and my mom brought it up this past, like, I thought I brought it up to one of you, or text one of you, maybe it was Angel or somebody I text her. I was like, I thought I brought it up to you guys. She was just like, this past Christmas, she brought it up again. She goes, yeah, to her sister. She goes, don't you remember when so-and-so was having an affair with this guy? And I was like, oh yeah, you brought that up. She goes, yeah, I always thought it was odd later on in life that they let that guy do a performance in the church. And I was like, what do you mean she was the president of his fan club? And she left. Then he got with her, and I think they're still together. But no, it was like a whole thing. Yeah, this grown man came and was like, yeah, my 17-year-old girlfriend, I'll perform in your church at your school. And nobody questioned it. And I'm like, could you imagine that today? Imagine like we were like, we're going to go perform at our significant other's school. And you were like, oh yeah, what school, U of M? And we're like, no, the high school. And then they were like, not only that, do it in the church. Do a whole performance. And it's like, even if it wasn't predatory, it gives off predatory vibes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine that really happening today. That's wild. And then I think about that. I'm like, and then I'm just like, how did you guys make it to adulthood to have us even? Because I feel like it was a very lawless time.
It's crazy.
Imagine a time when you could be like, I'm going to go out for smokes and just never come back and change your whole life 10 minutes away. Crazy. Nuts.
Shout out to Grandpa.
Forgot the milk. I'm still waiting, damn it.
He took the milk with him. Ba-dum-ps.
I mean, at least he went for milk, he said, and not like cigs.
He went to go
I would
milk
feel more
somebody.
put out if someone said a pack of smokes over milk. I'd be like, well, at least milk is like, you know,
With
more important in the, yeah, you know, at least you lied better than, you know, yeah. Somebody was arguing that with me the other day. They were like, I bet it was 10 times better a long time ago. Oh, you mean when men could just dip out on their wife after kicking the shit out of them and just going, yeah, let's go start up a new one.
Dinner's not ready, bitch.
Yeah, right. Right. I got 3 kids in the city over, and my name's John there. Like, okay, awesome. That's great. That's a really great time to be alive.
And now it's brought back with memes because don't you see like Instagram vids like when I come back from a long day at work, my like wife overcooks something just a smidge and it's like a scene of you like Tekken or
yeah, right, exactly. I'm like, yeah,
really,
sure it was great.
That's how it was. Can't imagine.
I'm sure it was awesome when nobody was held accountable for things and paperwork.
You know how many grandmas got beat the shit out of them?
Right, man.
so
Think
bad.
about your granny. Yeah, exactly.
Almost dead, but
I never saw my granny, I shouldn't say my last name, sit down for a hot meal ever. She was just always taking care. I don't know, Irish Catholic cult, man. Like you take care of the men and you do this, and it's a whole thing.
That's how my mom still was almost. I almost call it indoctrination.
Yeah,
because my mom was raised really Catholic.
Welcome to the club.
And her and my dad aren't really doing that well, but they're like kind of just stuck it out.
Well,
they're like fuck it, and that's what we were raised as.
Actually,
and that's what we got to do. It's like it's a little rough.
I'm just saying, man. You might not believe in stuff, and I was saying this the other day. I really think. Are any of you guys watching the new season of True Detective? It's fucking great.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking great. But there's like a supernatural element to it, and I feel like indigenous people are being targeted, like in Alaska. So they're like Inuit, but there's some random dude that got caught up in it, and they keep bringing up that he's from Dublin. And I was like, okay, well that's a culture that I know is like very close to the other side. And then I figured everything out using Catholicism. I kid you guys not, on a live stream. And then I was like, yeah, but I don't know where this silver comes in. Angel, first and foremost, Angel is your name. Jumped into the chat and he goes, well, it could be silver like. The 30 pieces of silver Judas paid to the Romans paid Judas to whatever. And I was like, if we just figured this all out through Catholicism and me going like, I was raised hardcore Catholic, but whatever. I was like, this is going to be fucking insane. I was like, this is going to be crazy. So yeah, no, Angel's involved with that. And I was like, this is hilarious. This is so goddamn funny. And I think he's absolutely right. I think he's 100% right. But I was talking about that and I was like, I'm not trying to convert anybody. I was like, in any way, shape, or form, I'm talking broad strokes when I say these things, but we were just talking about how certain cultures have a similarity, and I do feel that way about specifically like Irish families and Hispanic families that are raised hardcore Catholic, where we might be getting older now.
Right.
But are you going to walk into your mom's house and like fuck with her candles or something?
Hell
exactly. Because there's always. I'm telling you guys. I was like, I'm not a practicing Catholic. I had to cut it out of the video later on because all my lights fell down after I said it. But I was like, oh no, there's like something like I shouldn't. My Irish Catholic ass is saying not to say that shit, and I don't care what anybody says. Everybody else is a snooze. Right. At least Catholics, we have a production going on. There is stuff to look at. Like we're weird Gothic people, And like you don't think staring at like devils and blood rivers and all this. We got the craziest shit going on there. If you get bored at St. Hedwig on Christmas Day, you can zone out and look at all the crazy shit going on in there. We got it's hype. Like if anybody's close to witchcraft, it's the Catholics. We're shaking smoke in your face, we're throwing water on. But I was saying that I go, no, there's just certain things you don't do, and I was like, I'm pretty sure if you're raised hardcore Catholic and you're Hispanic, are you gonna walk in and fuck with your mom's shit? No, you're not, because you're like, I might not be practicing, but a part of me tells me that stays right there. that we're not going to touch, and we're not even going to say anything to mom or about our beliefs or nothing. And I'm not even going to say stuff out loud because I know it's going to upset the order of things in here. And it was wild. But I was like, oh yeah, Angel is attached to this. How did we get on the Catholic rabbit? It's been like Catholic City over on my channel, just so you guys know. And that's crazy.
Welcome to the Motor City Catholic.
Yeah, no, I keep having
you're going to start hearing the church music.
I don't even know.
It's like, all right, we're ready.
I don't even know how it started. I really don't. I just remember being like, well, my Catholic ass sees this, this, and this, and then it just snowballed. And then I was like, if we really figured this whole thing out, this is nuts. So it's just been like 5 videos on like Catholicism attached to True Detective. But then I'm like, no, when you think about it, like in college stuff, like you were saying, your family went to church stuff. That's why if you're Irish and you know this, like that's why you say Irish Catholic, is because there's a lot more to that than just saying like your religion, because you're saying like I can actually say that shit here, and there's still people getting blown up over it over there, and it's like a whole thing. But no, it's certain traditions and shit that even I do today probably wouldn't have happened if the church wouldn't have been like a community and backed my family. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, like, and certain things carry over and things like that. So there are good things from communities, but as a whole, no, it's indoctrination. You're absolutely right.
It is. I forgot.
So what are you guys watching? Go ahead, Gambit, you talk. You got an exciting life, Gambit. Let me interview you.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, but no.
A sequel episode.
Yeah.
One of the things we were talking before we did anything, definitely not the previous episode, we were slightly diving into the conversation of Godzilla.
That's my man.
But I've grew up in Godzilla, the American version of it first.
Okay.
Even though I was not in America.
Yeah.
So because it was just the time frame of which it came out, that was the relevant.
No,
one,
but
right?
this is great because that speaks to how big he is.
So the 2000
legendary.
Was it, no, it was 97.
Everybody can enjoy Godzilla.
Yeah, so the 97 one was the first one I saw, and then
the Matthew Broderick one.
Yeah, the one in America.
Stop it!
Yeah.
Oh, literally, that's what you meant.
So
I thought you meant like the Americanized versions of the other ones. Oh no, you literally started with Matthew Broderick.
With that one.
Stop. I'm so sorry. That's why I started. The Vince Vaughn one? Tell me more about this. I need to hear. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first one I saw, and then I slightly saw the older ones, which I thought they were pretty fucking cool.
They're great.
Right? But it just, I guess...
There's something about a lizard smashing a building.
The realism of the American version one that probably got to me. But then I saw Godzilla -1. No, let me retract
the ones before.
So, about 3 months ago, I saw Shin Godzilla for
Okay.
the first time, which I don't know if you guys know which one that is. It's from 2016 that came out in Japan.
Yep.
That's also one of my top ones.
Oh,
I
yeah.
fucking love it. The destruction in that bitch. Bon appetit.
Nice. There's something about
going
a
back
lizard.
to the nuke, about getting nuked again.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Japan.
Yeah.
And they were like, one of the, spoiler alert, I mean, it's not the ending or anything like that, but they do mention, like, we should probably throw a nuke at it. And they're like, well, it's Japan, bro. Like, we already got nuked.
Yeah, right. No,
Fuck it. Let it happen again.
I was shocked. When I went into -1, I knew it was going to be good. I wasn't expecting
To be
what I
that
got.
good?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I was really concerned that my mom was going to stomp out of the theater because I almost stomped out for opening night. So I already saw it once, and I took my family to see it like a couple nights later. And then, spoiler, he gets blasted in the face. But Godzilla doesn't lose, ever. He just gets pissed off and goes back into the sea. That's what he does. And then he comes back ready to go. Like, Godzilla doesn't lose. He smashes buildings. He has the same roar. We love him. He's a lizard smashing shit.
It's definitely my favorite atomic breath.
But I knew my mom would lose her shit.
Atomic breath.
Dude, on the Godzilla -1.
Oh my God, it's beauty. It's beautiful. But even the way they showed that in that movie, and I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole, but just nature itself, and that's because that's what Godzilla is. Right. They're putting too many bells and whistles on this shit now. I get it. He can be a protector of the earth and all that shit. That's fine. But nobody cares. We want to see him smash buildings. Right. We want to see him fuck shit up. We do not care about the people. Get them the hell off the screen. Right. Nobody cares. Yep. Just have the lizard smashing shit. Right. Have him and the ape fighting. That's all we need.
That's one thing that I liked about the
-1
was
is beautiful.
that they made you care about people.
Yeah!
I'm like,
that was the
holy
first thing
shit,
I said.
dude. Like, what? All these other ones are like, I guess you guys subplot the humans.
And you said you watched these at first before you were even in America?
No. So I watched.
But the first one you saw was the American one.
Right, the American one was the first one I watched. Then I kind of delved into the other ones, and then up to and then I mean I've seen all the remakes, the 2014.
No,
where the one that
I
Bryan
grew up on
Cranston's
them.
in. So I've seen all of those up to the newest one, which is the one with him and Kong, not the one coming out.
Oh yeah.
And then
Kong's cool, but he's not Godzilla.
Right. Then I saw Shin Godzilla because I guess I must have missed it because it's a different culture.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that was pretty fucking awesome. And then at that same time, I realized that there was another Godzilla coming out, and I went to the movies and saw that, and it was literally a showing like on a Saturday night, and like at 10 p.m. and I was like, there was like 3 people in the theater, and I was like, how is this movie not fucking like?
There was nobody. There were 6 people at the -1 opening night at the Imagine. I was like, what is happening? What uncultured swine. Not only that, 3 dudes walk in, sit a chair down for me. I'm like, the whole thing's open. Do we really need to adhere to the seat?
No, they had to get
and then talked through the whole damn thing. I was like, I normally I don't get crazy. I'm not somebody who's like, you can't say a word or nothing. Like, I don't get irritated about this shit. I'm like, send your text. I'm cool with it. But if you literally just come into a theater
and it's fucking empty.
And it's opening night. It's Godzilla. First off, what's wrong with you? Godzilla's on screen. There's something wrong with you. Like, you should care about this. If you don't care about the people shit, at least care about the lizard, man. Show respect. But yeah, no. Like, it was like he was in his living room. And I'm like, would you go into a restaurant and just like throw the place on the ground? Like, you came to a theater. Like, just don't come to the movie. Like, you know what I mean? I was so pissed though. I was shocked. I was like, how come there aren't more people here? That was opening night for -1.
Right.
I'm glad it's done better, but
it only had like a $15 million budget.
Right.
Which is fucking insane.
That's good for them.
Disgustingly.
It's beautiful. And the way that, like I was originally saying, the way they showed the atomic breath in that is like a natural like disaster almost. Was just so beautifully done.
Yeah, he
I was
can't
like,
just fucking willy.
it was more than just like, oh shit, fuck him up, Godzilla. It was like, damn, like that's
He fucked them up. Like now,
but then he gets his head blown off at the end, but then comes back, obviously. But I was concerned. I was like, I almost stomped out opening night. Mom's gonna lose her shit.
The classic, like the classic theme song from him.
Yeah. Oh, the way they used music in that, and that's I'll tie this around to you. The way music was used in that, because nothing is, man. Who all has sampled that? Lil Kim, like everybody's like sampled that shit. Right. That Godzilla music, you might not even know it's Godzilla is, but you know, like, oh, you're a big bad motherfucker when you hear that dun 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 dun. It's like, oh shit, it's going down, it's happening, and you're like, oh
That
man.
was the shit, though.
And the way they mixed it in right when you started hitting the city up, like out at the sea, it was like, okay, we're doing some orchestra. The second he got into the city, and it was like, let's go. Let's fucking go.
I can't.
That's awesome.
That's gonna be one of those. I hope they bring out like a physical version of it. I'm probably gonna buy that. Physical.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
dope,
normally
man.
don't buy physical media, but I'm gonna probably buy that one.
Now let me ask you this, Music Man. Can you think of something, and you can come back to it if you want, because speaking of music, anything that I feel like it's hard to do, but something that like a movie where the soundtrack is better because it's a part of a movie, or the movie is better because of how they did the music. And one example I use for this the most is the first Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
I feel like that one makes the soundtrack better when, like, you can enjoy the music.
Yeah.
I remember hearing Sunflower a bunch before I saw it and being like, oh, this is a bop. I like this coming on. But then after seeing the movie, I'm like, wow, you like it even more after you see this movie. I really like this.
Just get a credit for being the most.
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, wait a
having
minute.
the most platinum awards. It was like
really?
double platinum or some stupid shit like that.
Really?
Like 20 times platinum. Or some shit.
It's a jam.
Yeah,
it's a jam.
Sunflower from the.
But like even What's Up Danger when he first jumps off
Double
the building
double
and
diamond.
that kicks in.
It got double diamond.
Oh shit! I was gonna say double platinum is like, I was like, that's big, but that's wild. But no, do you have any movies like that where you're like, wow, I like this music in here even better? I feel like the latest Transformers did a really good job with
I
that
have not seen any Transformers past the Wahlberg one.
because they were peopling around too much.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. Get to the
The one
goddamn
that
robots.
they shot in Detroit. That was the last one I saw.
Dude, they were right outside my sister's work down there, and she got to like take pictures with them and stuff. Remember when they turned it into Tokyo?
Yeah.
When they dressed Detroit up? I loved that. But for some reason, my friend just had like good luck. Like one time she ran into Aaron Paul when they were doing Need for Speed. Like one time in California.
God.
Yeah, swear to God.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
We were at Movement.
That's an underrated movie.
We were at Hart Plaza, and she was going. Prior to this, she had went out to California, walked into like a Cascade rave he was throwing, and the SWAT team had to show up. She's like walked into it, and then that same trip was like, I think someone's going to come out of this door. She ended up getting trampled by drag queens because Lady Gaga ended up walking out the door like 10 minutes later. Like people were waiting for autographs or something. She's like, not this door, this door, and then it was Lady Gaga. So she just has a knack for this. True story, we were at Movement, like 2015, 2016, and she kept going, that's Ryan Gosling. And I was like, do you know how many drugs we're on? Do not go up to that man and bother him and say you're Ryan Gosling. That's not Ryan Gosling. He had a scarf on, glasses. You couldn't really see his face, but I'm like, it's anybody tripping. Like half the people here are doing that shit. Right. She was like, that's Ryan Gosling. And I was like, we're on drugs. Don't bother him. The next morning, he was on the Detroit Morning News saying like, I went down to the Techno Festival. It was wonderful. We just went in through GA. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like she just had a knack for that shit. So when we went down to Detroit during the Transformers thing, we would just go down there and like drive around and smoke, like because we were in high school, and that's what you do.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Oh, you don't drive around and do things, but that's what was happening. And she walked right up to somebody and was like a guard, like a worker. One of my other friends had gotten in trouble already for being too close or driving by too many times. They were like, stop it. But she walked right up and was like, do you mind if we go in there? And like, because they had a part sectioned off with like a gate. Right. And they let us right in. And we got to go walk around and everything. I wish I still had those pictures. And it was sick. And it was like, it looked like we were somewhere else, but really it was just dirty old awesome Detroit.
Awesome Detroit dressed up.
Do you guys remember when when the Batmobile got stolen here? And nobody talks about that enough. Oh, yeah. Can any other city say that?
No.
Did you steal the Batmobile?
No, we stole that money.
Driving down 75 on those awful roads.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a sick story, even if it was for a minute. Only a minute.
It's in some sketchy storage, like, or business or wherever. Some warehouse.
That's great, though.
That's gotta be somewhere.
You know, I'm pretty sure, like, it happened quickly or like that. Because I remember them coming out later being like, it wasn't stolen. And I was like, no, somebody got in that Batmobile and moved it. For sure. 100%. And it's like, we all might be decent human beings, but I guarantee you if we walked outside and the Batmobile was there.
Yeah.
We'd be like, so who knows how to do this or has a cousin? Because we're taking a ride today.
It's probably a Ford.
Well, right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Let me tell you.
That could be distant Ford like that.
Oh, yeah.
Your company of all people.
I'll come out swinging.
The Batman vs Superman soundtrack was pretty dope.
I feel like Batman vs Superman doesn't get the credit it deserves. But I will say that who's that fucking turd who does the Christmas music? Jay Towers. Having Jay Towers in the beginning really threw me off, but it's only because we're from here, and I was like, that son of a bitch. Like, he's like a news anchor or something. I'm like, that would be But that would be a cool thing to barter with. I'd be like, oh, you're going to shoot that movie? Can I be a news anchor? That'd be awesome. That'd be so... In a Batman movie? I would do anything. It'd be awesome. But I'm trying to think of, like I said, like, is there a soundtrack that sticks out to you? You can come back to it if you want. I just think that's an interesting thing.
I think the first time I noticed it was like the Black Panther movie. Though that soundtrack was very
Can
good
we-
too. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. You want to talk about Germans and shit? Imagine
Panther and Germans.
That was the only white dude on that production. You hear that music, you're like, what? Like, are you like? Because it's great, and it's just like, but you can tell like this person obviously cares about hip hop. You can obviously tell.
Yeah.
And then you have like Ryan Coogler and all, and then we get to the stringy-haired white dude dressed like Bass Nectar, and you're like, what the shit is this? I remember looking that up, and I was like, what? And he just randomly came over for college and got roomed with Ryan Coogler. That was his dorm mate. And I was like, that is awesome. So he was like, the second I got here, everybody's like, cram this hip hop down your throat. Like, this is all we're listening to and stuff. He's like, so I just learned about it. And I'm like, that is the funniest part about Black Panther. You're like, oh, this is an all black production. That's awesome. And this and the cat, it's awesome. It's a marvel. But no pun intended. But when you get to the stringy-haired white dude in a funny patterned over baggy sweater, you're like, what did you do? The music of all the things, the music. That's a crazy. He did Mandalorian too.
Oh, did it?
Also bangers,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
bangers,
Oh, the
bangers.
theme song? Oh.
Imagine that too, though. Like Star Wars is such an iconic thing. Like even if you don't, you know that music. It doesn't matter if you've never seen it. You know the.
You know that's how I.
Imagine getting that call of like you're going to take over into the Star Wars universe because John Williams is retiring, and you're like, shit, I better make it good. And then and then you come out with that shit, come out swinging. Oh man, that's awesome. That's so cool.
One of the soundtracks that I definitely held very high is to one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Baby Driver.
Oh, Baby Driver's fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah, I love Edgar Wright.
Oh,
yeah.
that fucking
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole soundtrack.
It's so good. No, it's so. Do you want to know what my nephew? He's not even 4. Was singing the other day, and I didn't realize it was in the Mario movie, and it's I don't know. We'll get you in trouble for copyright. Take on me.
Oh no!
And I was like, and he was like mumbling it, not saying. I'm like, is
Take on
he
me.
singing
Oh, yeah,
that?
that
Like,
is a
and,
Mario movie.
yeah. And then he was like, this is a thing. Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
Did
And
you see
it's-
the Super Mario movie?
I like it.
Did you fucking see the fucking glowing star? We're all gonna die.
Oh yeah, yeah. Honestly, with my biggest thing with that was why are we dilly-dallying so much in the beginning, being plumbers? Get to the goddamn point. Like, move your ass. But
Did you see that attempt of people trying to get Jack Black nominated for a Grammy for his song Peaches?
See that.
no.
A lot of
He
people
deserved to be,
wanted
for
to do
original
that.
song.
Well, my thing is, I saw a really funny meme that was like, our Jack Black we grew up with, and it was him singing like a bunch of Tenacious D shit, and
Yeah.
like, and then it cut to,
Peaches.
yeah, they were like, what kids have today, and I'm like,
Fine,
you know what though,
Kickapoo.
he's the best.
Yo, yeah.
Jack Black is the best.
Hey, you fucking Kickapoo.
I think he's going on tour again.
Time ago,
Tenacious
town
D.
called Kickapoo.
Oh, this is a random one, but I was talking about this. Do you guys remember before Disney how Iron Man had a chokehold on AC/DC?
Oh yeah.
They were full-blown tours.
The first 2 movies were.
Yeah, and it was just like, we're harming our own people in the desert, and it's some messed up terrorist stuff going on.
Make it badass though.
Cue Thunderstruck or whatever. And this shit, they got like, it's like, okay, we're being liberated now by AC/DC. And I was like,
Ready.
they had full-blown music tours. And I remember there was one at DTE, and it was just like AC/DC playing songs from Iron Man, and they had it Iron Man themed. And I'm like, that was a time. That was a time to be alive.
Before the MCU took off.
I try to think of other soundtracks, and I'm like,
Oh, there's a ton of them. We can go
It
down
is.
fucking.
well, there's like scores, so like original music for it. But then I'm like, one that doesn't get enough respect, and I don't give a shit, is the Too Fast, Too Furious soundtrack.
Oh,
I mean,
What a
the
bomb.
earlier Fast
Too
and Furious.
fast, too fast for y'all, man. Come on.
Tokyo Drift is
Oh,
another
that's
one.
an
It's like-
iconic track.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Jams all around, and all as a whole. Nelly doesn't get his albums are way better than people. Nelly needs to be in the conversation more. That's all I'm going to say.
Jam.
Country Grammar and man, come on, shut up.
Now I'm thinking like The Longest Yard was a good soundtrack.
Bops,
Like,
jams,
Lil
iconic.
Wayne, Nelly.
The Hardball soundtrack. Can we talk about that? When throw me the ball and watch what I do with it. God damn, Keanu Reeves churning out bangers, but the Cucumbas, we're going to the ship. Doesn't get talked about, but that's a soundtrack. Yeah, Lil Wayne with no tattoos and a white tall tee with Bow Wow doing.
Bow Wow.
Yeah, and then like Mike's a jam, but
Oh my God.
that was bad music. But I'm like, what other soundtracks? With
Oh, the first Matrix.
jams. Yeah, I didn't get into the Matrix till I got. I won't lie. Till I got older, I finally sat down through them all. Probably at like
actually
25. Yeah. Keanu, he's just the best too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm yet to see John Wick 4.
What? My mom had a
I
meltdown.
hate because they
classic.
told me that's actually the ending of the John Wick series.
No.
Is that what they say? Allegedly.
Mom
I don't
wasn't
think
tolerating that. There are things my mom just doesn't accept, and that is like John Wick having anything happen to him. That just doesn't happen. She still doesn't acknowledge Iron Man's death. That's just not a thing.
I think at this point I don't either.
She just doesn't. Yeah, she's just like, no.
They're gonna.
That doesn't happen.
Speaking of the MCU,
I was gonna say I think a future movie that is coming out in a couple months might address that issue.
A lot of people are saying they're reignited for it.
are you ready to watch the?
Are we doing it? Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to?
Deadpool
Yeah,
trailer?
fuck yeah.
Well,
I'm just gonna give her my phone.
yeah, I was gonna say do it that way.
Honorary mention for soundtrack, but just because the score so iconic is "Requiem for a Dream." I feel like that gets used a lot, and people think it's from one thing, but then I'm like, no, that's pretty iconic. I'm just like, I guess Hans Zimmer kills it in The Dark Knight, but I'm like, you know. But like I said, those are different categories for me. Where I stand by this. Why no orchestra and nobody's jumping on doing a music festival of just movie scores is beyond me. I'm like, what would Danny Elfman?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be dope.
It'd be sick.
Yeah.
It'd be sick if you were like, we gotta go to the Danny Elfman set, and then we gotta go to the fucking Howard Shore later. I'd be tripping balls at some Lord of the Rings shit. That'd be awesome. Okay, what am I looking at?
Oh, here we go.
Am I gonna be upset? Are we all gonna be upset?
I wasn't upset.
Here.
I have questions.
Can you see it,
but
Gambit?
I definitely have questions, but I'm not upset.
I love the trailer.
Can you at least see it? Okay.
I love how those
You two don't matter. We're the guests.
Yeah.
No, I'm just, wait, you want me to hit play?
Yeah, and then we'll see.
people listening on Spotify and whatever are gonna be like, "What is happening?"
Dude, it's
Don't
funny
worry
because
about it.
this takes me back to my old days of when I first reacted to the Batman trailer. And somebody's like, I can't believe you did that on your phone. I'm like, that's all I had.
It's been a challenging few years.
Oh man, it's a lot.
Oh no, I like this look.
I'm the luckiest man alive.
I like how they're making him look like stereotypical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these jokes are that hit. Oh,
I'm so hyped for this.
Wait, Wilson.
Oh shit! Oh shit! We're putting Loki shit into this?
Is that supposed to be scary?
Yep.
Begging isn't new for me, friendo.
If you don't have a Blade cameo with Wesley Snipes, you fucked up.
Pegging's not new for Disney.
Stop this shit.
Miss Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
That's so weird.
I wasn't unconscious. Tom Wamsgans here! I love him.
Special.
This is your chance. To be a hero.
Oh, like just what they show him. Yep. Salute, Captain America.
Oh, Cap. Okay.
Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever.
If you don't have Wesley Snipes in the background somewhere, you fucked up. Honestly, you might be Ryan Reynolds. You might be.
Oh yeah.
He's about to save the universe.
God damn.
And then he fights TVA. That's interesting.
Are we gonna get a Tom Hiddleston cameo in this? You think?
But I love this cameo that's coming up.
Oh, I know.
I'll let you keep working with Hugh Jackman, but I need a 5-foot Wolverine.
Oh yeah. Then this scene.
Are we in Canada? 'Cause that's a reference too.
Oh, there's a
Because is that snow or is that desert? I can't tell.
There's also something on his right.
Fucking stop with the shadow. That was sick.
Stand there, you ape. You need a hand up. I'm actually okay. Thank you.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, we're putting him in the title.
Yep.
God damn. Okay. I'm happy. You know.
Doesn't give too much away.
Yeah, no, that's the
Nope.
problem with trailers too, especially with Marvel. They've struggled with that, with like, how much are you putting in here? How much are you warping and it's going to piss us off later? No, here's my thing. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. X-Men are my favorite. Magneto's my favorite character of all time, ever. Of everybody. Magneto's the best. I don't care what anybody says. But we need a hairy 5-foot Wolverine. That's what we need. Like, we need that. That's him. And I'm not saying Hugh Jackman. I love the iteration we've gotten. And I'm not saying this isn't awesome, but I'm like, eventually.
Yeah.
It should be like Danny. It should have been like Danny DeVito. It should have been. Like, I'm serious. A cannonball, dense
That'd be awesome.
motherfucker who's like, no matter what, I'm going to fight you and probably win. And I'm like, man, who's your favorite X-Men? Who are your favorite X-Men? Nightcrawler. Duh. Well, besides Magneto. Well, he doesn't, yeah.
Gambit.
Oh, not. I meant to ask you that. Oh my god, I got off the phone with him.
Oh, what a thought!
When I got off the phone with you, I was like, oh yeah, Golden Gate, and then I was like, I wonder if that is X-Men related. Yeah, no, yeah.
Going back to the again, not to bring up my childhood, but I was in
No,
a different
please
country
do.
when all these movies were coming out.
I think that's fascinating.
So Wolverine always to me was the center of like the mutants. So
For sure.
So Wolverine definitely has a soft spot.
Oh, definitely.
As being my favorite X-Men.
Really?
Yeah.
All time?
Yeah, of all time.
Oh, shit.
Followed by Cyclops.
Oh, Cyclops was
bad.
one of my
Cyclops is
yeah.
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, who's your top tier?
God,
We can do like 3. I mean, Mystique, nothing will beat Rebecca Romaine.
Mystique.
Rebecca
No.
Romaine, Mystique is a part that is not
I don't know why.
shit.
I don't know why I had a soft spot for Pyro, just because like it was just so.
That's the
kinda
best scene in the
convoluted.
entire thing.
Yeah,
It's the best scene in the whole thing.
It's so convoluted, but like.
That's a dorky looking helmet. And this dorky looking helmet is what's going to protect me from the real bad guys. What's your name? John. What's your real name, John? Pyro. And then when he says, you're a god amongst insects, don't let them make you feel any different. I'm like, oh my God, Magneto. And I rewatched that recently and covered it. Ian McKellen is totally sassing that guy. The fact that we got through the 2000s and nobody went, why are you making Magneto gay as hell, is shocking to me. Rewatch. I'm telling you, he's throwing his cape around. He's being catty in the corner with his BFF Mystique and is like, oh yeah, making jokes and shit. I'm like, this is the mean gay best friend. Yeah, and I was like, I think Ian McKellen made a conscious choice of like what this character stands for and went, I think I'm going to let myself be in this character a little bit. He's sassy as shit. Magneto is sassy as fuck in those original ones. And
They wanted to build bridges.
Yeah, no, we ain't. No, it's so good when he floats the bridge over.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was badass.
I was gonna say, speaking of Pyro, you did see him in that trailer.
stop.
Yes.
Oh,
No.
you missed it, huh?
Yeah, you missed
Same
it.
actor. Same actor.
You did.
No.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
X-Men 2. X2 is my favorite superhero film
It
of
was
all
like
time.
it was like the
Mine's up there.
Yeah,
Mine's
that's my
definitely
favorite
up there.
superhero film. Brian Cox is William Stryker.
Oh yeah.
When he's, I'm just saying. Here's the you guys have. I Am Inevitable. We had Brian Cox saying, I was running blackout missions in Nam while you were sucking on your mama's tit at Woodstock. Don't talk about war to me. And it's like, holy shit. As a kid, I knew I didn't understand that line.
Right.
And then you're like, but this is a serious motherfucker. And him and Wolverine shit is so good. We had the government going into a school and blowing kids away in their beds, essentially. Oh, yeah. They would not allow that today. They'd be like, oh man, we're gonna piss. Don't trust the government. Don't trust the government. They're gonna come into your school and snatch you out of your beds if they think you're a threat. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so goddamn good. And then find out the government's behind it the whole time, making move. Man, with Nightcrawler. No, tell me if now.
Nightcrawler intro scene?
Yeah, tell me if now that would be acceptable. If we had an opening scene of our superhero film and they get into the president's Oval Office and they're gonna blow his head away, and nobody can stop it. Nobody can stop him. And it's like, oh shit, they would not allow. It's an attack on something now. We couldn't do that shit. But I'm like,
It's political.
it's the best entrance of anything. It's so good.
Again, the
Nightcrawler.
soundtrack in that scene.
Yeah.
So good. And Bryan Singer's a creep. I'm aware. I don't condone that, but it is
You
my
don't
favorite.
condone that?
Yeah, no. Oh wait.
Don't
How am I
You
supposed to
just
say
fell
it?
into
Yeah,
that
I
thing.
fell into it. We do
Oh,
not.
I got caught 2 episodes
Should we
ago.
say we do not condone?
We condone
We condone.
creepness, right?
No, condoning is saying you're cool with it.
Oh, is it? Oh, then I'm backwards.
We do not condone Bryan Singer. I almost said
Condone
Cranston.
was like you don't like it.
Nope.
No, condone is saying I
'Cause 2
condone
episodes
this.
ago, I was saying I don't condone violence against women. And I was like, wait a minute.
No,
that
then you're
sounds-
good.
That sounds contradictory.
No, oh man, no, that is it's my best. It's my favorite one. It's my favorite one, and then it's the best one. I mean, X-Men's always the best, but to be able to go, oh, everything's political now.
You know,
You ever read an X-Men comic?
you know
Have you
what
ever
I-
heard of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X? I'll let you pick up the pieces, idiot. God, I love it so much.
You know, one thing I hate about X-Men 2 being so good is that the third one kind of like erased a little
Yeah.
bit of the greatness of the second one. Which
No, it did.
I remember how such a culmination was of the ending of like the flood and how monumental that event was. Even like that just disaster, even if it's in just that one movie. And then for the third one, be like, oh, it's just a lake.
Right,
Like,
right.
what?
No, I will say that. Okay, besides Rebecca Romaine, I mean, I think she has the best. Is that the third one when she's getting interrogated and says, "I don't answer to my slave name"?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, but like she's so good. And I feel like outside of Jennifer Lawrence, who I'm not hating on you, I know you're a great actress. Mystique's like a creature almost. You know what I mean? And Rebecca Romaine brings like a sleazy, snake-like, unhuman, and you're not human.
Oh, man.
And like quality to her.
I just remember the scene where he breaks out of prison. Magneto in the second one.
Oh, there's too much iron in your blood. There's too much iron in your blood. Oh shit! Never trust a pretty woman. That's what I mean. That is a gay best friend line. That is
Never
a gay
trust a
best friend
pretty woman.
line. Never
Especially
trust
if she's interested in you.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, no, that's total gay best friend talk. Like, there's too much iron in your blood. It's so good. You should have killed me when you had the chance. It's
When
so
he
good.
senses it too, when he like walks in the room, he's like,
Man.
like, he senses the fucking.
Magneto's
iron.
beast.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Beast is great. Beast doesn't get the credit he deserves. No, I do. I love X-Men. But to tie it back in, all I wanted... My friend saw Black Panther when it came out. Called me walking out of the theater and was like... Tragically, Chadwick Boseman passed, but he was like, this is what they need to do in the second one. And he gave me a whole synopsis, and I was like, I love that, Brad. I was like, don't let somebody over here. And he was like, no. In the opening of the second one, we need... Because all I want is Killmonger and Magneto to meet on screen. Because their causes are so similar. And that'd be great. Two Erics. Oh, man, it's my favorite thing. But I was like, I want them on screen together. And he was like, no, Abby, this is how they open the second one. T'Challa's running through the jungle or some shit. And then all of a sudden, you see lightning start to flash. And Storm lands in front of him and is like, fuck are you doing? Too close to my shit because she's an African princess. And he was like, they duke it out. And then by the end, they have to like be buds. Or like Magneto's there trying to recruit her or snatch her up or something. And I was like, I would really. And he was just like, he's running through the jungle. It's all dark. And then lightning starts to flash. He's like, and then Storm lands. And I was like, Storm's such a bad bitch.
I think I take it back in my top two.
Storm's a bad bitch.
But it wasn't my favorite X-Men, but I had definitely had a crush when I was a kid.
Yeah, who didn't?
On Storm.
If you didn't, there's something wrong with you. I don't care, gay, straight, anything. If you didn't have a crush on
Doesn't
Storm,
matter
there's
what you
something
like.
wrong. Yeah, there's something wrong with you. Halle Berry is Storm, cartoon Storm. It doesn't matter.
Didn't she play another superhero? Or am I thinking
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Guys
I remember that when I was a kid. That's when
That had a bumping
I was hitting
soundtrack.
puberty around that time, bro. I was like, yo.
And who was the guy in that? Who's the guy in that?
Benjamin something.
Benjamin.
wasn't it?
You're right. Benjamin.
Was it Brett?
Pratt, Brett,
I think Brett.
something like that. Yeah,
Brad.
no, because he was in Doctor Strange recently. Because I was like, oh, we're switching universes from that crappy one. Good for you. It's only taken 20 years for you to
make
shake
sense.
off Catwoman. And who agreed to that?
Did you guys see the Fantastic Four?
Before we go any further, hang on. Let's backtrack this because we're still in that.
Magneto.
On what our studio's thinking. You guys hear all this shit about Madan Webb?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god!
I heard
Can I
it was
say
Now I'm
something?
like, I don't know if I want to go
I heard
spend
it
my
was
money to
trash.
go watch it.
I think that maybe, besides Patty Jenkins, who did the first Wonder Woman, maybe you people are really struggling with. Okay, Spider-Man essentially, Sony owns the rights. Marvel's renting him out, for lack of a better term, right now.
Pimping him.
But as long as Sony, it doesn't matter if it's a green screen in the background. It doesn't matter if it's me and you on screen going, I'm Spider-Man. It does not matter. As long as they put something out in theaters every amount of years, they can keep the property. So they don't give a shit. They'll churn out anything Spider-Man to just keep it. And I was really hoping they wouldn't do that with this. And I was like, I'm hearing this is really bad. But also, I got vibes of the Harley Quinn movie, which wasn't god-awful. And had good
Harley
production.
Quinn movie wasn't
No, it was good.
right?
It's good. You can throw it on. It's not it's not Catwoman.
Yeah.
But
Suicide Squad 2016.
Oh, the first one. Oh, yeah.
right.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, I think maybe some of you are struggling with female-led things and things like. And it seems like you guys think because the quippiness works with dudes that will translate, and it's like it will to an extent, but fundamentally we think different.
Right.
So. I think we're dropping the ball here just from not understanding a character fully is all. And I was with that one specifically. And then I hear about this Madam Web and I'm like,
Yeah.
What are we doing?
They want to keep the property.
yeah. And I don't know if that's a part of it, but I think it is probably. I'm
gotta
like,
be a good chunk.
you were going to spend money on it?
Well, to go watch it before I saw all those fucking reviews, and I'm like,
Dakota Johnson, I love her, but she looks like she's taking a snooze through the whole thing.
isn't she like the one?
And then
from
Sydney
50
Sweeney, I think,
Degrees?
is the
Yes,
worst.
that's the main character. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think they went, oh, people like you on the internet and memes. Let's get you.
Oh, speaking of soundtrack, 50 Shades of Grey.
Wait, sorry, I just yawned. What?
Speaking of soundtracks, 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh God. Honestly, like I don't care what anybody says. Is Window Shopper on the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack? That's on the soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between because this album's called that, but then we had Get Rich or Die Trying the movie, right? No. We had a song. But either way, that's a jamming soundtrack. That is a great soundtrack and does not get acknowledged enough. Is the 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying? It's not as good as 8 Mile, but remember the chokehold that had? Everybody had the CD.
Oh, did you hear the Spiral Book of Saw soundtrack? I like that one a lot. Too.
Oh, that's a good one, honestly. I heard some Detroit rapper, someone played it, and they were sampling Pan's Labyrinth, and I was really impressed. I remember I said something about it, and I was like, this is. I was like, who did this? And somebody's like, that's like a local. And I was like, who's the cultured motherfucking producer here? I was like, that you're throwing in Ophelia's theme. Like, what's going? Okay, that was awesome.
Respect. You get brownie points.
Yeah, for real, man. It's funny because I rewatched that with somebody whose first language is Spanish, like in the last year, and I was asking him, like, can you tell me if they say anything different? It's one of my favorite movies, and there were a couple lines that it was really interesting, where it's like if they would have kept like a certain word in, it would kind of change certain things.
That happens all the time when I watch content that's like originally shot just with Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'm watching. I'm like, you guys are. It's fucked up the translation.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, you can tell me if you agree with this because I didn't think about it. I'm like, no, Guillermo's my man. Guillermo del Toro is my favorite.
He's pretty.
He's the best, man. He's just adorable, and he loves monsters.
He's quirky as shit.
And he comes out swinging in his Oscar speeches.
He's also funnier in Spanish.
Oh my, he's great.
Because I'm pretty good when it comes to catching jokes both languages.
But in Spanish, he's one of those quiet people.
Fucking great.
He's one of those like, I'm saying some smart ass shit, and like even with his Oscar stuff, when he comes out and he's like, I have this huge message I'm about to say, but I'm saying it in such a nice, cutesy way that I'm politically not pissing everybody off, even though the things I'm saying should piss everybody off. And he's been teeing off about that shit forever. Like when he came out and the first thing he said is, "I'm an immigrant," and be cool. How about that, asshole? And I'm like, oh, Guillermo's out here. But I had him watch. Now tell me if you agree with this, and I don't mean any disrespect here. He's Mexican, and I'm used. But then I'm like, oh shit, this is in Spain, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then my buddy was like, oh, you got me watching some Spain shit, and I was like, why? And then he goes, well, they all sound gay. And I was like, what do you mean they all sound gay?
So
like you're being. And he goes, listen, Ab, they have a lisp. And I was like, what do you mean they have a lisp? And he was like, usted.
Yeah,
and I was like,
how they do it.
usted. And I was like, I can't unhear it. And he's like, it's Barcelona.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, I was like, so what you're saying is,
They speak with the lips.
I was like, here, where they speak Spanish, it's more of a kind of like the Midwest, where like we're harsher with the way you say, it's more like boom, it's like vowels
the best
direct, and I'm like, oh, okay,
the best description that I tell anybody when they look at both Spanish from Spain
that they're gay,
and then here in America and Mexico, is that it's essentially how you guys have English in the UK, and then here.
Well, even if you go out
we are a little more fluent, and it's like easier to kind of grasp.
Yeah.
Like I guess more elementary per se, but then if you look at people speaking English in fucking England,
right?
You're
well,
like,
even
what
just
the fuck?
if we
half
go,
the words you guys are saying, it's like, well, why?
Well, even if we go to like California, their use of a vowel isn't as harsh. It's a bit more like they don't pronounce T's. It's more, and we're like at, Abby, and then if I hear somebody else say it. Sometimes it kind of sounds like or you know what I'm saying, and I was just like, so I was like, are you saying that?
But it's the meaning of words entirely too. Like so, it's not just the pronunciation. That's why, because if you hear like a British person,
that's why I love a native speaker of it.
It's the fact that certain words to them mean something else to us.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with people from Spain.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, and I was like, this is interesting as shit.
One that's pretty funnier that always like, imagine you had a word in English that means to fuck something, right? But in England, it means to pick up something or grab something.
Right. Okay.
So that's one of them. That's an actual word that happens in Spain when we hear Spanish. Spanish people from Spain speak.
Like we might have a different.
They drop that word, and in our word, he's like, he just said he wants to fuck his kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like if you're not aware of that difference,
right?
You immediately go like.
Well, my Arabic speaking friends always say this too. They're like, no, there's a difference between like. Saying someone's like a whore, like for real, like they have to do that for a profession, like that's not cool to call somebody, but calling somebody like whatever, like you go out and bang for money because you don't have to, like you are banging and doing this even though you don't need to be doing it, then you can do the insulting one. But if somebody's doing that to like literally get by, you don't do that. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And like I said, when you're a native speaker, it's funny because I called them for True Detective a couple weeks ago. I swear, just so you guys know, I'm saying it here. They're throwing us off. They're mixing Spanish and Portuguese together. I'm not that ignorant. I was like, I know it. And then in the captions it said Spanish, and I'm like, I think they're trying to throw us off. But apparently Portuguese speakers were like,
I can navigate Portuguese.
You messed up.
Same.
Well, I might have you listen to it before I go. But I called my friend. I'm like, Roach. I was like, listen to this shit. I was like, translate it. Call me back. And he's like, okay. 10 seconds go by. He's like, it's not Spanish. It's Portuguese. And I was like, God damn it, you're no use.
We can sort of understand it, but it's not all.
But I swear they're throwing us off on purpose.
I used to work at the airport, and whenever we had somebody that spoke Portuguese, they would like call me.
Language is fascinating. That it really is. Just imagine like some colonizer shit happens or whatever.
I can
or just
navigate
time.
to Italian too. Like I can maybe.
Yeah, same.
That's why the Romance languages are so cool. And so like I know my one ex is super not this one, but is super Romanian, and he knew most of the language. Like he could speak it, but not perfectly. But that's a Romance language too, but people forget it and leave it out. And I'm like, man, that is so cool to me. Like, I wish, because once you learn like the roots, you're kind of good, or like for basics at least. And they're so pretty.
You can navigate.
Every other language sounds so much better than English. We're just like, let's get harsh in this motherfucker. Well, I guess German's got a rough one too. Yeah. We keep coming back to those Germans. You know.
Yeah,
Don't like,
what the fuck?
Not my fault. Not my problem.
No, but but it does make a difference when someone's a native speaker compared to, let me talk out of a textbook. Let me ask you where the bathroom is.
I have a coworker right now that's teaching himself Spanish with Duolingo, the app.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
He's in his 90-day streak.
Ooh.
And he's lucky because he asked me, like not to stroke my own ego, but I'm a native speaker.
Yeah,
so
right.
He'd be asking me like, oh, wait, what?
No, my Spanish is probably much better than yours.
Like,
okay.
He'd be asking me like, oh, is this how you pronounce it? I'm like, no.
No.
This is how you pronounce it.
No.
Like,
Do you want to sound like those Spaniards?
Yeah,
then listen to me.
And I tell him like there's differences, and like I explain them, which helps a lot when you're trying to learn on your own.
Now, do you have like a movie or something that you prefer in Spanish over the English version, even if it's like dubbed
you
badly?
have a few. I know that.
Off the top of my head,
Oh, go.
Shrek 2.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh my God.
That's now. Do you both speak Spanish or
Not as much as
He
he does.
understands it a little bit. Well,
But I just need to know for like future. Who do I call if I need Spanish?
You probably call him first. Call Brian.
If I can't get through the Road Trip Medical Mondays, I'm gonna call Brian.
Him first, me back up.
Okay.
Or Angel works too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shrek 2, no questions.
Okay, that's an
Way
interesting
better
one.
in Spanish. Most of the Marvel ones are pretty funny. In
Yeah.
Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, and that's one thing that I was telling my coworker is that because you have the American media or just all media in America, right?
Yeah.
From Hollywood and shit. Obviously, they're speaking in English. Right?
Everything's so geared towards us.
But if you throw that media out in the world, well, they have to translate it, right?
Right.
So when they do that, the same person that speaks for a certain actor follows them for all their movies.
That's
So,
wild.
like in Spanish, Will
What a
Smith.
great job.
He only
You should
speaks
apply for that shit.
Yeah, he only speaks for Will Smith.
Right.
So it's him, but it's not him.
If I were you, man, I'd be applying for that shit left and
every
right.
now and then,
Yeah, imagine being the Spanish talker for like Captain America or some
I
shit.
want to
That'd
do
be
that.
great.
I'd love to do that.
That'd be great. Apply. We're gonna find out.
If you're ever bored, just put
We're available.
Put Infinity War in Spanish. And
Okay.
you're gonna love the way that Thanos.
I'm glad that they like
he
care
speaks
enough.
like like he's like really like fucking like.
I'm glad. I love the way people's infliction changes when they speak different languages because there's a totally different vibe,
sounds like a
and
whole
it's
different
really cool. It's fascinating to me. It really is, and I love like the root of a word comes from whatever. So I just think stuff like that is cool. But that's I'm glad Marvel cares enough to go. We're gonna get the same person instead of going like.
Well, that's just all.
You speak Spanish? Get in the booth, Jerry. Like, do the recordings. Like they care enough.
Well, that's how a lot of leaks have been confirmed out for Marvel sometimes because like other countries say
those goddamn Spanish speakers.
They
Brian.
call me in to translate.
Those goddamn Spanish speakers are
yeah,
secret.
Yeah, and they had to put a button like not putting certain like I forgot what they're like either. To doing those after the fact of production and press is done.
Okay.
Because I think like that's how some of the stuff got leaked for Spider-Man, where they confirmed that we're for sure gonna have this because it was the same dudes that translated the movies in the previous franchises.
Right.
And they got called back, and they were like, "Well,
we're coming
if
back."
Marvel called me back to do a translation,
yeah, okay.
I think that
get what you're
answers
saying.
the question. Right?
If Abby does all the talking for Wonder Woman, then all of a sudden Abby's getting called.
She gets called for the next DC project.
Got
it's
it.
like, well,
no, that makes a lot of sense actually.
so they had to put a
sneaky bastards.
Yeah, they had to put that in. Like,
sneaky
really
people looking that shit up. That's so smart. That is really smart to look up. Oh man.
Yeah.
No, do you have any that like just from nostalgia though? We were like, I don't want to hear this English shit. Put that on in Spanish.
Well, definitely. It'd be Independence Day.
Oh,
again,
nice.
going back.
That's a funny one. That's ironic as shit. I love that.
But it's in movies.
Independence
And it
Day.
made no
The
sense.
most American shit you could say. Independence Day.
And when I was a kid, it made no sense because I'm like, oh, is it because we're independent from the aliens? And now that I'm old, I'm like, oh, it's because it's 4th of July.
Yeah. No,
And
great.
Mexico, I'm like, no, it's September 16th. What are you talking about?
No, yeah, I mean, it's just from like things you grew up on and stuff like that. Like I'm always gonna have that is one thing too. Where
Rambo.
Imagine that
good,
like things like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball are so.
Dragon Ball, I saw it in Spanish.
But they're so universally loved that I guarantee you I could
I
go.
love
I
it.
could
I
go to
used to-
Mexico City showing Sailor Moon Eternal, not know shit, and be like, me and you are best goddamn friends.
Yeah.
Because we love this shit
I
and we
don't
know it.
I'm sure I brought this story up.
They love it.
once.
We do too. Everybody loves Sailor Moon. Who doesn't?
When I was in Mexico, watching the end credits of Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah. I bet it's
a
hype.
fucking earthquake happened.
Stop! I've seen that online.
Yeah.
You were there?
So no, I'm talking like back in the late
Oh no, that happened again at like a premiere for anime or something. Everybody was in a courtyard watching it. They played Sailor Moon Eternal. I was looking this up for like a month, and something happened, like a natural disaster of some kind happened. And I was about to say, Brian, you were at that shit.
No. So when I was a kid, and I remember
sick.
like my dad.
See, but that's what I mean. They got like those things airing, and we were up here like these fucking end of the world cartoon commercials saying that the Cell games are coming, kind of eerie, but we're waiting on it. But South America and Mexico were all looked out for with that shit. They were like, oh no, they're on the anime tip. Because there was something with the regulations that it got through, but keep going.
Yeah, no.
But that was hype as a kid. Dragon Ball with those crowds.
Yeah, like when he's running in the fucking credits and then the ground starts to shake, you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'd be thinking the crowd was hype. I'd be thinking everybody was getting geeked.
And then literally a news report like a.
That's what I mean, man. Cartoons and shit just transcend
like a 5.2 great.
Yeah, there's something about media and stuff. Like I said, it transcends. I think that's why I like it, because it can bring people together. It really can. You're like,
Jim
like I said, if we went to a crowd right now and it didn't speak a lick of English in the thing, even if it was a language we didn't know, we were like, we know Goku beating the shit out of people though, and we know the hero's gonna win in the end, and we can, and if they got good vibes, we'll hang out with this crowd.
Yeah,
and it's like that's sick. That's awesome.
You know how much shit. Because I've rewatched certain Dragon Ball Z episodes now that I'm older.
I rewatched it all.
How much fucking sexual content they
So
had
much.
Oh, it was.
So much.
For a lot
Who's your
of
favorite
shows.
Dragon Ball character? For real. Like, Piccolo.
For me, it's Goku.
I think it's a thing with my dad dying, though. I'm not to be morbid, but I'm like, I have a thing for like pseudo dads, I realized, where I'm like, Dad adjacent is my dude, and Piccolo was always my dude from the jump. I'm like, that's my guy. And then I got older, I was like, how come Piccolo's not on more fucking shit? And it bugs me. But who's your favorite? Goku for real? Goku's great.
Mainly because he got his fucking dick kicked in when he was around. I remember the one thing that I was so fascinated by was the snake trail.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I'm like, man, this shit is like forever.
No,
like it's fucking.
A couple years ago,
how long is that trail?
Everybody on my team at Ford, I kid you guys not, rewatched all of Dragon Ball. That's all half a team on Ford was doing, was rewatching Dragon Ball and starting Dragon Ball Super. I swear to God. And we were all just watching on our phones, and I was like, who's logged into who's Crunchyroll? It was like a whole thing. So I rewatched all Sailor Moon, because the final season was never aired here, because they were like, too gay. And it's like, I remember as a kid, I'm just gonna be real, like 2 scouts show up, and I remember as a kid going like, you ain't cousins. Like, I have a cousin. I have a cousin. I don't act like that with my cousin. Let's get real now. But so I wanted to rewatch it, and I didn't mind the dub and whatever, but I never got to see the final season. So I finally got to a couple years ago, and I was like, let's churn through Dragon Ball 2. And I was like, this was an endeavor. This was a big endeavor. But it's Piccolo, and then I think Trunks showing up was the first time I was hitting like right before pre-teenage, where I was like, that's attractive. Where I was like, this is a really attractive made-up character, and I really like him a lot. And I think that was probably the first time that happened in my life. So Trunks has a special spot in my heart, future Trunks. But no, Piccolo's the main guy. But I love Gohan, and I really think that I think Gohan's a metaphor for our generation, where it's like everybody told us to go to school, and everybody told us be goddamn nice and be politically correct and do this, and we're like, yeah, we're trying our best. But you told me,
I have a podcast now.
Right, exactly. You told me not to go train with my dad, and now I'm running into all types of. You told me to go get a trade. You told me not to do this shit. You told me to just be nice and do this shit, and now you're forcing me to snap and go crazy, and that's what's happening. And I'm like, no, we're all just a bunch of Gohans running around. You told us we weren't going to make it to adulthood. We lived through Y2K. We lived through swine flu. We made it through all the shit you told us we weren't going to. We made it through 9/11 and New York falling to the ground like the Avengers. And we were like,
hey, that's our Avengers.
2012. Everybody told us the world was going to end in 2012. Made it through that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that movie though was a shit.
it was good.
The 2009
was
movie
good.
in 2012.
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, fucking Cusack.
You guys remember the end of the world hype? But I'm just saying, we made it to adulthood
kinda hype,
doing the
though.
Gohan shit, and then we're like, don't make us snap though, because we're trying our best to be goddamn nice and do right things
I
right.
low-key wanted the fucking world to end in 2012.
I
I was in 12th grade in fucking high school. I was like, man, this bitch can end today.
yeah, right, exactly. I was out of school for a year by then, like my first year out of school, and I was like, fuck it, who gives a shit if the world ends? Who gives a shit? You know, who cares? But no, Piccolo, Trunks. I always got Vegeta reminds me of my sister, so I try to explain to people. I'm like, like Vegeta, that's my sister. But I don't know.
You know what's crazy is when you get older, you realize you side more with Vegeta.
Oh yeah.
And when you were a kid, you were like, oh, fuck that motherfucker.
That's one of my favorite things. I was just saying this to my mom earlier. I'm like, as a kid, you take something totally different from Harry Potter than you do as an adult. Like when you read it, and it's like, as a kid, you're like, oh man, Hogwarts Express. As an adult, you're like, death.
Damn, Snape was right, bro.
Yeah, you're like,
Holy
fucking
shit.
A, man. I'll fight about that all day. People are like, oh, Snape's a bully. And I was like, fuck Harry.
Now that you're old, I'm like, damn,
Fuck
he was
yeah,
just trying
Snape.
to, look out for the fucking kids, bro.
Yeah, Lily was the only one nice to him.
Yeah.
Goddamn, James was a bitch.
And then he swallowed his love for, fucking.
And then he had to walk
Forrest
over your fucking dead body because you couldn't protect her, James. You piece of shit. You asshole. And you were a bully. Let's get real.
The first movie I remember watching in cinemas of, when.
Oh, that's my favorite
when
question
you're
to
a
ask
kid,
people.
When you're a kid and you achieve consciousness, because
Yeah.
you're an NPC before then.
Yeah, right.
For me, was my dad taking me to a cinema in Mexico, and Lord of the Rings was playing.
Stop.
So
Was it
it's
magic?
like, so it's like the
Goddamn
it's 97.
magic.
Oh yeah,
No,
I remember
no,
being in
2001.
awe, because I was like, you're like 3 years old. You're like, it's fucking amazing. It's a whole new.
That changed my life.
And then
I'm dead serious.
that same day, we went back around after we shopped around in the mall, and then we went back in, and it was Sorcerer Storm that came out, the Harry Potter.
Oh my god, I love
think
that.
if I remember, you can double check.
Do you want to hear a funny Spanish Harry Potter thing? Because Guillermo was supposed to do 3, and Azkaban is fundamentally the best one, but it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
That was my favorite.
Alfonso Cuarón does that. He did Roma and shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's my dude. Alfonso Cuarón's shit. But
fuck.
Guillermo was supposed to do it. He ended up being like, and that's what I mean about Guillermo del Toro. I'm like, this is what I love about him.
Imagine what fucking creatures would have been in that fucking movie.
Imagine somebody like Guillermo coming into your studio and then going, nah, I can't do it anymore. And you're like, what the fuck, man? And then he's like, but you can call Alfonso. Just like it's nothing. Like, oh, you want me to call this huge director and he was like, no, just call Alfonso and tell him that I told you to call. And it's like, what a sweetie you have to be to be like, my friends are going to answer if they're like, Guillermo told me to call. So you must be a good dude, But they called Alfonso Cuarón and they were like, hey, will you come do Azkaban? Because Guillermo's backing out of it. He's got some other shit to do. I think it was Pacific. No, it wasn't Pacific Rim, which is my fucking favorite thing. But
still to this day, I haven't seen it fully.
God damn it, Brian! You're fucking up. It's robots beating the shit out of kaijus. It's awesome.
I was
It's
gonna say,
great.
if you had cable, they show that thing all the time.
God damn, it's
I don't
fantastic. I have
cable.
extra copies. I will send it to you personally.
Send
But
me a copy of Pacific.
all
Rim
I'm saying
so I
is
can watch
he produced Megamind. Like, you go from
Oh, that's
doing
my
Pan's
shit, man.
Labyrinth to Megamind to Pacific Rim.
Wait,
You're
wait,
fun.
Guillermo directed
He
Megamind?
produced
Yeah.
it. No, he was a
he
but he was an
produced it.
artistic creator on it. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna.
That's why do you think it's so great?
Speaking of, do not watch the sequel. That's coming out.
Oh God, no.
That's horrible.
No, but
Megamind has a sequel?
No, Megamind.
So they call Alfonso Cuarón.
No, but it's like horribly done.
No, the first one's
CGI 's
so
crap
good. The first one's
and-
perfect
no,
and doesn't
no.
get the credit. It didn't get the credit it deserved when it was out.
Will Ferrell's not in
that
it
was
either.
Will Ferrell, right?
Oh, that's
he's not-
bullshit.
They're
No,
not in it either.
Then
yeah.
fuck it. Don't go see that. Don't support that. But yeah, so they
Boycott it.
They called Alfonso Cuarón. So these motherfuckers in England are on the phone with this guy with a heavy Mexican accent, and he's like, and this is the example I use all the time with people is a movie's not a book. You can only go off what they show us and what we hear on
And
the
that's
screen.
the interpretation of something.
Now, if you've read Harry Potter, you might not remember this, but when the Dementors show up on the bus and it all freezes, that's not in the book. That's just the feeling that they get. And I'm like, he nailed that shit of like, that's exactly how it feels, but showing us on the screen. But the funniest story behind that is that he was on the phone. He was like, they were like, it's unheard of to have somebody do the storyboarding. Like, that'd be like me going, we're going to do a movie. Okay, let me tell you all about the story. And Mario's right here, like, while you're on the phone with me and has it done. So we showed up in England after doing that, and they were like, oh, yeah, it was great. It was blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, here's your storyboard we half-assed did. And around the Hogwarts Express was a bunch of eyes drawn. And he's like, what the shit is this? And they were like, the eyes. We didn't question it, but we were like, he's the directing genius. Just draw the eyes around the goddamn train. And he was like, ice. And they were like, what do you mean ice? And he's like, not eyeballs, you jackass. And they didn't understand his accent. They thought he was saying eyes. He was saying ice the whole time.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, that is so goddamn funny. And they were like, we thought we lost him. They were like, we thought he was going to walk right there. And that's also why, and I'm like, that is fucking funny. Like, if you got bent out of shape over that, like, they were like, but we were terrified. Like, we offended this man. And he was like, no, that's funny as shit. And I'm like, imagine being the creators of that too, like the biggest franchise in the world right now, and you're like, let him run with it. Just let Alfonso run with it. And I'm like, speaks to how good you are.
Eyes, fuck it, bro.
But that's also why it stayed until the end of the series. There's the eagle holding the snake fountain. Because Alfonso was like, that's for me and you, Guillermo, and like put it in the courtyard at Hogwarts, and that's why that's there. And I'm like, that is adorable, you little besties, you little best friends. That's so
gay.
cute. Imagine being like, hey, I'm doing Star Wars, and I'm like putting a inside thing
Put
for
an
us in
homage
there.
on there, please.
Yeah,
Put
and
me
I'm
in
like,
that bitch.
and that thing stuck around. Like, that thing is like, I know people with like tattoos of that shit, and I'm like, that's awesome though that you just were like, this is for me and my buddy and where we come from. I love that shit. Have you ever watched his stuff? Like, he did like Kronos and Devil's Backbone and stuff.
Wait, Kronos. Yeah,
It's like his grandpa and some like piece of that was early
Okay.
Del Toro, but
You know, I saw Pan's Labyrinth,
so
a
good.
bootleg version of it from Mexico before it came out in theaters here.
Stop.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
I don't know if I'm just spilling out bullshit. I don't care, to be honest.
I don't
But
care if it's
to
bullshit.
my understanding, that premiered in Spain first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I saw that movie and I was like, damn.
I bet you Guillermo personally leaked it.
I appreciate it more now that I'm an adult. But when I was a kid, I'm like, wow, this is like some really weird shit. Especially like that table scene with the fucking dude.
Oh, you want to talk about an
Yeah,
NPC
yeah.
moment?
And
I'll tell you what
fucking- oh my
scene
God.
changed my life at the dollar show. Was Mercedes.
Rest in peace,
Yeah,
dollar
fuck,
show.
man, that pissed me off so bad. Was Mercedes saying, and I was like, oh, this probably had a huge impact on my little girl brain when I saw it. That came out in 2007. I would have been 14, maybe. And I remember when Mercedes says, sticks the knife in his mouth and tears his mouth open and goes, if you touch that little girl, you won't be the first pig I gutted. And then she stomps out, and I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, oh, that was
He's, like,
awesome.
working- yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, when she stabs him in the, oh, man, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, it's just beautifully done. It's great. It really is.
It's a nice movie.
Oh, it's one of those things where I think people go into it thinking, like my friend kept saying it the other day, she's like, it's a kid's movie. I was like, no, it's a World War II movie.
Same as Carrie. That's
Oh,
not a kid's movie.
Carrie was my dad's favorite. I always tell people that. Like, that was how he told me to be nice to people, was Carrie. He'd be like, oh, what, you want to get pig's blood spilled on you at the dance? But no, he meant that shit. He was like, Abby, you're nice with nice people, you're gentle with gentle people, but sometimes you got to be mean with mean people. It just is what it is, but you never know what people are. I'm telling you guys, if I could have gotten in fights and anything else, and my mom would be mad if I got thrown out of school. But if she would have found out, like, I was going out of my way to pick on somebody, she would have told the entire school, like, come out and watch me beat her ass in front of everybody. Like, it'd be a dragged. And so that was always a big thing in my house. But Carrie was always brought up, and I never read it till a couple of years ago. It's really short. And I was like, every 14-year-old should have to read Carrie. Because it's just all about, like, she's going home to shit, coming to school and dealing with shit. The boys asking her out is a joke, like,
You know,
oh my God. But then I'm like, it does give like
Yeah.
school bang bang vibes, but at the same time, be fucking nice. Be goddamn nice to Carrie.
What's the, this applies to all of us in the table. What's the first horror movie you guys remember watching?
Oh,
Deep Blue Sea.
For real? Is that the one with Samuel L. Jackson?
that's a jam. LL Cool J's that's got a song in it too.
Wait,
It's
is
song
that
about
the
like
one-
shark fin
Is
hat
that
or
the one where
something.
LL Cool J survived?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Black guy
I
to make
remember
it
that
up.
was one I was not allowed to watch.
Side note, we don't have to get sidetracked on this. I think people forgot what a goon LL Cool J is, by the way, and until New Year's Eve, and he was trending, and I was like, did everybody forget that LL Cool J is like the fucking man, like in all ways, like,
Right.
and our grandmas love him on NCIS, like he's won the hearts of every granny, and
Oh, I forgot
is
about
one of the best to ever do it. But what do I know? But no, yeah, he was the first horror movie I ever see. My dad watched. Like, I got pissed because one of my guy friends got a Night of the Living Dead tattoo. And I still might do it, but I just might get the name Barbara and just like, they're coming to get you, Barbara, because he got the whole thing. And I was like, I was going to get that for my dad. I guess I won't now, asshole. And I was thinking about other ones, but so I watched that. I remember my mom said she was horrified. She was real pissed about that. And he was like, what? She was like, don't watch these movies with the kids. But I'm trying to think, like, the first one that really, like, I sought out with probably me and my sister watching some shit. One that I accidentally watched, and I constantly bring it up, is there's the movie Red Dragon, which is the first book in the Silence of the Lambs set. Now, I'm 7 at the time, and there's a movie called Manhunter, which is based off that. And it's horrifying. And Hannibal Lecter's in it, the whole nine. It's how Hannibal Lecter gets caught. And I accidentally watched that as a kid, me and my sister. I don't know why we kept watching it, but if you know about it, it's probably one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. And I just want everybody to know I accidentally watched that at 8, and that was really grilled and burned into my brain. Yeah, that was bad. And they played Inagata the Vita by Iron Butterfly, the entire thing. That song's like, what, 15 minutes or some shit? They played the entire thing, and I was like, I still can't listen to Iron Butterfly. And I know that's like absurd, but I'm like, no, no. And that's a creepy ass movie, is Manhunter. It's, but no, that really sticks out. But I'm like, man, what did I remember when I saw 28 Days Later at the Dollar Show, and that was the first time as a kid I realized, like, or as like a woman, I should say, I realized, like, yeah, this is way scary, because I know that I'd be a commodity at the end of the world, because it goes from like zombies to like, now we're getting creepy with it. And she's like, when she gives that girl a whole bunch of pills and says, she's like, oh, are you trying to kill me? And she says, no, I'm making you not care. I remember that really hit me hard as a kid, where I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be a human at the end of the world, would I? I would be. That really scared me, I remember. So that one, there's ones that stick out, but I'm like, the first one I saw, does Jaws count?
It probably. It
That's
doesn't
my
have to be in the
favorite.
theaters either.
That's my favorite thing. Oh, in a theater, yeah, that's different. I'm trying, yeah, but that I remember watching it as a little kid. Probably, yeah. I remember we watched Silence of the Lambs pretty early. I remember Mom was upset. She was like, the head in a jar. I'm like, I guess. Oh, man. No, what's your favorite genre?
Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, nice. Which one's the one in the mall?
Dawn of the
Is
Dead.
okay.
I was terrified.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like zombie stuff. We really went through that phase, too, in the early 2000s.
You know the first zombies movie I watched wasn't 28 Days Later.
Resident Evil.
It was fucking Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, jam.
I mean,
And I tell you
That was a
what,
good one.
when I saw
And
that
you're right.
shit when
You
I was
like
a
that to be
kid.
right, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
And
you
now
must
that
be,
I'm older, I went down a rabbit hole maybe a couple years ago of those two. Like
Yeah.
their comedies, like Hot
Yeah.
Fuzz.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, they consider that a trilogy now.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking
So you're a big
so
Edgar
good.
Wright guy. Yeah, okay.
Edgar's
so good.
I can respect that. No, I mean, my favorite horror, like I said, Jaws would probably be the first one I saw. Yeah, that's still one of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely. But Silence of the Lambs is up there. That's a good one. But then I'm like, zombie stuff? Rick Grimes is coming back.
Is he really?
Yeah, this weekend, man! We got Rick Grimes coming back to the small screen!
6 episodes, right?
Oh, yeah! Rick Grimes gonna bite your throat out. As long as he's not acting like Farmer Rick, I'm happy. Seriously, that was the worst of The Walking Dead. I was like, Farmer Rick, tilling fucking soil at that prison for so long. What are you doing? Stop it. We need you biting throats. Acting. The Rick-tatorship is the greatest. When he's just like, it's my way or the highway, assholes. Everywhere Rick goes, he's like, I'm a tyrant now. And I love him for that. I'm like, there's always got to be somebody to do it. But he really, rewatching it, I'm like, you really insert yourself, Rick. And I'm kind of here for it. I kind of love it. You dramatic motherfucker. And I'm excited to see him come back. I really am. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it, Rick.
I stopped watching The Walking Dead.
I skipped 2 seasons, and then somebody called and said Carl died, and I came back. And then I left again.
I stopped once
fucking-
Rick left.
Yeah, right. Where do we all stop?
The Terminus season.
It got better.
I love Terminus.
I
That's
left.
the last season I saw.
I
And then I
love-
jumped back for a couple episodes when fucking Glenn got his ass.
Yeah,
smashed.
Negan showing up is one of the most
Once Negan
iconic.
showed
He's like, well.
Yeah, I liked
One of
it.
the greatest villains ever.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, his entrance is still iconic for sure. Him showing up at first with the whistling and everything. But I dipped for a while. My mom stayed till the end. My mom stayed all the way till the last one ended. Yeah, and I was like, good
Oh,
for
is it
you,
over
mom.
now officially?
Does anybody know anybody? Yeah. Yeah, but now they have the spin-offs. And I will say Dead City was pretty cool. The Daryl one was good. It was fine. But, I mean, Rick. Yeah. We got Rick and Michonne getting their own show. That's sick. But...
Yeah, that is dope.
But no, for a minute, I left, came back, and then left again, then came back during the Whisperers, and I really liked that, I remember. And then I don't know what made me bored again. Something.
Zombies.
Ezekiel, I don't know. I like Ezekiel, though, and I'm just like, I don't know. We're wearing bike pads. We're getting out there. It's happening. Ezekiel. And Carol was sick.
Yeah.
Carol's cool. But, yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like vampires are making a comeback right now, which is great. Because they should always be making a comeback.
Shout out to Twilight.
For real, I feel like that sent it into bullshit town for a long time, and now we're finally getting back to vampires being wild, and I'm here for that. I am here for that. But yeah,
30 Days a Night.
my mom
favorite.
constantly brings that shit up.
Love
It's
that
like she's
movie.
like that weird nighttime movie, and I was like 30 Days a Night because it's great, it's
I've never
fantastic,
seen
and
it.
Josh Hartnett needs
It's
to make a
great.
comeback. It's so good, it's
Yeah,
so
that
good. Oh man, no, I mean best vampire stuff is. Well, the Anne Riceverse is making a comeback on AMC. Interview with the Vampire, I think, is one of the best shows on TV right now. It's so good, but they're doing all the spin-offs too. And there's 10 books in that. That's Queen of the Damned and everything. And I'm like, oh, we're going to get really crazy with it in the next couple of years. I think AMC is going to move Anne Rice universe into the Walking Dead slot and start building off that, which smart. There's enough shit there to do it, but
It's
I don't
gonna
know.
hopefully it doesn't run into the problem that Marvel and fucking Star Wars.
well, that's the problem HBO's having right now with this
Fucking-
goddamn Game of
they're
Thrones shit.
milking the shit out of the
Milking
fucking
it.
properties,
Right,
bro.
right.
Like the last
Fatigue
show
to
I
the
saw,
max.
the last show I saw from Marvel was Loki season 2.
So good.
I didn't see What If 2. I didn't
I
see
didn't
the
either.
fuck.
I
I
didn't
didn't
see
see Echo.
I watched part of it and got
I
bored.
barely.
First episode
Kingpin
was
is my
great,
favorite.
and it just dropped.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, Kingpin is my favorite, and I'm like, why am I getting bored with this? I shouldn't be getting bored with this. I will say this: there was a scene when Daredevil first showed up, and I was like, oh,
that was so awesome.
we have a blind guy and a deaf girl fighting. I love that shit. That was sick. That was cool. And that I feel bad. I should go back to it. We'll go back to Echo. It's
You didn't
established.
miss nothing. After that first episode, it was just like
Yeah, we watched the first two, and then
Yeah.
got snoozy. I do appreciate when things are having messages though, like especially True Detective. Did you guys ever watch True Detective? What is wrong with all of you?
No, I don't know.
Have you?
I've been
You'd
watching
love
the
it.
new ones.
Okay,
We'll save
yeah,
it for
so
the
good.
podcast.
Callie Reese is killing it. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, oh, yeah.
but I love them having like. There were so many people in our life that didn't know Flint was still messed up. And we were like, no, water being jacked up is a real thing.
Yeah,
and
they
especially
never
on
fixed that
reservations
shit.
and on indigenous land and shit. Like, nobody gives a shit. And it's sad and it's messed up. But when people were like, oh, Flint is still bad in our live chat, I was like, yeah. So I appreciate having like a message and saying things, but also we're still getting creative with the story. So I love that. And I feel like Echo was doing a good job with that part of it. Where we had it establishing she was going back home and the reservation and things like that. Like that, they were setting up really well. And I will give it that so far. But I'm like, but we still want ass beating and comic bookness. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, we need more comic bookness. You're handling this stuff really well.
New York to get nuked again.
Do we?
Do you know how long we had to wait for New York to get attacked again?
We need all the same writers and staff from the Daredevil Netflix.
So good.
It's just like all of a sudden.
You want to talk about
they're going in a different
Catholicism?
direction. Yeah.
You want to talk about Catholic guilt?
Yeah.
Matt Murdock is
I mean,
Catholic guilt personified.
Fucking,
Loved it.
It's so
The
good.
Punisher.
It's
I love
so
Luke
good.
Cage. Punisher was
Dude,
good.
the Punisher on fucking Netflix was the
I will say this:
shit.
whoever's cutting Netflix's trailers, you guys need to give them a raise because that Axel Foley one was sick. That was cut so good,
they're-
and the way they were cutting back and forth from like going back to Cali music and his original shit, I'm like, oh no, we love this. And the Lions are not represented anywhere in media except his jacket. And just so you guys know, I got in trouble at Disney World for holding up the line for the Great Movie Ride because it was Rose's dress in Titanic in a case. And then Axel Foley's jacket. And I was like, Axel Foley got the Detroit Lions in the goddamn Disney World. They were taking pictures. They were like, man, move. I'm like, buzz off.
Shut the fuck up.
Give me 10 seconds with this goddamn jacket.
You know how more iconic that movie would have been if the Lions won the Super Bowl?
Like, so that was the best tweet I saw was...
That would have been like a perfect like bow on top of him wearing the jacket from back
It's
in the
great.
day.
No, but I will say, one of the greatest cut trailers, and for a minute they were doing this. They were going, let's cover a song, like 80s, 90s era, and throw it in. And this didn't, it did that, but didn't. And it's the Punisher season 2 trailer of, and they're literally doing Gunfire to One by Metallica. I wrote a whole paper on One by Metallica. It's all about being a veteran and how they don't give a shit about you once you're blown to pieces and soldiers don't mean nothing. And I was like,
whoever cut, I remember that trailer specifically.
It's so good. And
yeah.
I was like, oh man, here we go. One by Metallica. It's my favorite. Don't butcher it. And then I was like, oh shit, we're doing like Gunfire to the beat. And it's like just the meaning of it. It was so good. I'm like, so
Somebody
Netflix.
did their homework on that.
Yeah, Netflix, give them a raise. Shit, no, that one was good. And did you guys remember the Punisher movie with John Travolta?
With fucking 2004.
Yeah. You remember that shit? I feel like that's not.
Going back to one of the first movies I saw when I got to the States was the very first one, because, Movie Mania was still a thing.
Yeah.
And, and Blockbuster and shit. The first movie I saw in America was Freddy vs. Jason.
What a great one to see.
Welcome
to America.
Welcome to America. Here's some tits. 5 minutes.
Violence, tits, and dudes in masks
fucking gore.
murdering.
Yeah. And then one of those that came right after was like they were all back to back. Was Elektra, fucking the Punisher.
not Elektra.
Yeah, Elektra. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, do we remember
it was
Elektra?
the Punisher
Yeah.
movie? And I was like, oh my god, they fucking killed his whole family. Like, holy shit.
No, yeah. I remember really liking that. I think I have it on DVD still. I remember they pull that guy's piercings out with a wrench, and I'm like, or like a pliers, and it's like, oh, rough. And his friend doesn't sell him out. And it's like, oh man, that was sad.
Oh,
and
the
that
Russian fight.
the Russian shows up in the
Oh,
story.
my
You see
God,
that?
that was crazy.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so. I bet you it's not as good as we remember. We shouldn't rewatch it. Let's not.
Yeah, 'cause
We're like, it's so fucking good. And we're
it's
like,
gonna kill it in your head.
yeah, no, that was a jam though. I really liked that one. And then we had a lot going on.
Oh my god, I remember.
There's a lot of blow going on.
The first thing I
back
saw
then
from,
in movies too.
from Ice Cube was "Are We There Yet?"
Oh yeah,
Dude, Ice Cube and
I never
Anaconda is
knew he was
underappreciated.
I never knew he was a rapper, dude.
I watched that recently.
Are we there yet or Anaconda?
Are we there yet?
Oh, I was gonna say, Are we there yet? It's good. No, I think Ice Cube's probably the best rapper gone actor, right?
Yeah.
He's up there.
gotta
Well,
be up
besides LL, because in the hearts of our grandmas.
Right.
LL.
well, there's Ice-T with Law and Order, but
Oh yeah, but I mean, like Ice Cube's like he had.
Television,
I mean,
Dude, he
you can
got, like,
argue that
21
Boys in the Hood
Jump
was like
Street.
act like yourself.
I mean, there's
Jump Street, yeah.
Jump Street.
But
was
he's
awesome.
funny.
Barbershop, Friday.
Yeah, no, Barbershop's great. I think that's a genuinely good movie is Barbershop, and it's genuinely like funny and well done.
Friday shit.
Anaconda is better than we remember, and whoever made that snake, that was really well done too. Even watching it back, I'm like, one, how did you convince everybody to go to the goddamn Amazon to film this? Would you? I don't know if I trust that, but that is a real
wouldn't
thing.
either.
A ton of blow was going around, and like they say that's what affected the third Spider-Man. Is that like Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire were all just like, let's go, and they were just, and then the studio was like, swear to God, man, look, this is shit. Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio were like gambling for 24 hours straight in like secret illegal dens, and then Toby was like showing up to set like, let's go, Sam, let's give me my Spider-Man suit. And then they said that once the studio was like, you have to have Venom, and then once you know that and go back and watch it, you're like, oh, no wonder you said F it, like we're gonna do whatever we want, because. They said that. They were like, we had gambling, blow, it's all going down.
They wanted all that shit.
Yeah, you have to have Venom. You have to have this. And they were like, well, you're fucking with my story now.
Right.
And they were like, well, do it. We're the studio. And then they were like, fine, then we're going to just turn up the partying to 11 and just throw caution to the wind and say, let's go. And I'm like, watching it back, you can definitely feel that. And then if you just think of all the movies, like I said, Catwoman, Elektra, all these things that you get. If that was going on the Spider-Man set, which was probably the biggest thing ever at the time. Do you guys remember when Spider-Man swung up onto the American flag after 9/11? It was iconic. It united a country. Like, for real. Like, for no matter how you feel about shit that went down, people still got hurt. Like, people lost their lives. It was a tragedy. You know what I mean? And we were really spiraling from that shit. And I remember being a kid and being like, this shit's like unifying us, you know?
When the third one from Blade came out.
Man, we can get into that in this, man, but just imagine it. Like I said, so I can only imagine what was going on smaller sets. Anaconda is a perfect example. Like, we're going to get Jennifer Lopez, huge at the time, megastar. Ice Cube.
Throw it in the water.
Huge. Yeah, we're going to take you to the middle of the goddamn rainforest and we're going to film this guy. No, that would not happen today. You'd be like, we can't put all these actors in this dangerous situation.
It'll be a
snakes, real snakes fall over the boat. John Voight's here in a ponytail. What the fuck is Owen Wilson? There's like a studded cast down here. And then you're throwing J-Lo and fucking Ice Cube into the water. I'd be like, I wouldn't do that. I watched that movie back and I'm like, I wouldn't even do it to film. Waist high water in the Amazon. Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? We don't have spiders that can kill us here. You think I'm gonna fuck around in that? No. Goddamn no. But I think it's better than Ice Cube's probably the best. Like, I feel like if Tupac would have lived, he would have won an Oscar. I genuinely feel like he had acting.
He was pretty good acting.
Yeah, he was pretty good. DMX did some shit. He was good.
Oh yeah.
Belly and.
Exit Wound.
Yeah. And then, because what's his one music video off of? It's off of Jet Li. It's off, not Unbreakable.
Cradle to the Grave.
Is that it? What is Unleashed? Wasn't that one where he had a collar on? No, but I think it's X gonna give it to you. Like, they're playing it in the background while they're all on their crotch rockets and shit. And I'm like, God, which one is it? Or is it Enter the Dragon? I don't know. My sister went through a real kung fu phase after that.
It was like back to back.
Yeah.
Like 02 to 06.
We just named one of them somewhere. Yeah. Oh, he was the best. That's one. There are very few celebrities I get like genuinely sad about, and one of them is who's the actor who played Omar in The Wire?
Fuck, I
know you're talking about.
Chalky White in Boardwalk Empire. He played. I think he was going to play DMX. Yeah, him. I get sad about him, and I always mix his name up with Sterling K. Brown, and I know that's not him. But because Sterling K. Brown looks like my brother-in-law. But no, him.
Is it Williams or is it?
That's it. It's yeah. But DMX, Robin Williams, like there's certain ones where I'm like, man, you could have done so fucking much. Like you were like past. Like DMX just had something about him where it was like, I like you. No matter what crazy shit you're saying, I really, really like you a lot. And even him later on, like. Yeah, I'm fucked up and I'm going to do what I want. Like, at least somebody was saying that shit. Like, imagine if somebody went onto TV, a reality show with their kid now, in a therapy session, was like, fuck you, son. I want to smoke my Newport and smoke crack outside. I'm going to fucking do it. Like, good for you. It might not be healthy, but good for you, DMX.
Smoke that Newport, boy.
Good for you. Exactly. Drink that. The Drake interview is still one of the funniest things ever on the internet. It's great. And you know he meant that shit. You rarely see that now of somebody really meaning that shit. And you know he meant every word he ever said. And that's rare, I feel like. But when he said, I never met no gangster from Toronto, is one of the greatest interview moments of all time. Like him just going in on Drake. I'm like, it's just funny. Yeah. Just imagine DMX talking shit about you. That had to be a real hit to the ego.
That's true.
Are you about to ask that question?
You guys seen that motherfucking Anaconda from Drake, bro?
Yo. I don't know. I was at an age of like, I remember when he first started going over to music, like officially, and doing that, and I remember being like, why the fuck is Jimmy calling himself Drake? Like, come on, man. Like, it was just gonna be Jimmy from Degrassi, and I'm still waiting for the day he comes out for a show in a wheelchair. Everyone's gonna go fucking crazy.
Oh, they would.
Everyone's gonna go ape shit. Imagine if he really came out Jimmy Brooks in it. Oh, everyone would go nuts. Everybody would go absolutely insane. I would too, and I don't even like him like that. But I'm like, good for him. I respect it. I do, but I never was fully. But I think the Degrassi thing tainted it for me. Where I'm like, no, you hang out with a guy who straightens his hair and has it cut in one place. Like you hang out with Spinner. Get real. Get real, bozo. Manny Santos is the real item here. What are we talking about, Drake? You keep wearing this 555 Soul on here. I don't know if that's something you were trying to plug back then, but was that ever a real company? Do you guys remember that? Did anybody watch Degrassi religiously?
No.
I recently rewatched it, and honestly, it's pretty good. Like, it's not awful. Are you a Drake fan? Like, for real?
Not that much.
I mean, I'm upset it's a jam. It's a bop. God's Plan is a bop. It is what it is.
So is a Hotline Bling?
Hotline Bling. I was
Yeah.
thinking that.
No, I remember the one time we were running from the cops. My buddy.
Wait, back it up.
No, we were like kids.
Back it up.
We were like children, and we were probably we couldn't drive yet, so we were probably 14 or 15. And I remember they said it was a curfew thing, but I was like, you don't send 6 cop cars for that to children. It was crazy. I was the only one who got away, by the way. I want that for the record. A cop told my friend, I've never seen a girl that big move that fast. I was so proud of that. Yeah, I was like, hell yeah! All the boys got caught and I didn't, and I was like, fuck yeah, you losers. But I'll never forget it. Ricardo was lying to his mom on the phone in front of me on the flip phone, saying that we were watching Without a Paddle, which came out like 5 years before at the Dollar Show.
Oh,
and I was like, "Why'd you lie?
It's good.
Why are we lying? We're not even doing anything wrong. We were at a house party. We didn't like the people there, so we didn't drink." I remember my buddy Eric stole a fifth. He didn't run, got the most tickets, but whatever. But I remember my buddy Steve was to the left, and he just was walking like this, going, "I just want to fuck every girl in the world." And then all of a sudden it was cops. And it was like, I remember that was the last thing I heard was, "I just want to fuck every girl." And he was all into it. He was really into that jam. And I'm like, that might have been when he was just airing his music videos on the N.
Oh,
when that was
shit.
Yeah, remember his music videos used to come on after the episode, and it'd be like, that one was a bop. And then that was like before he got picked up and shit. And
Yeah.
shout out Drake.
Makes me feel so fucking old.
We are old. It sucks. Our knees are bad and it sucks.
Oh man.
My knees are bad.
We all have an age where we're like,
Ankles,
Knees are heavy.
shoulder,
right.
Mom's spaghetti.
God.
Spaghetti.
No, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Is Drake acting foolish and texting little girls again? Or is he just having his dick
you
out
see
in the
his
wind?
dick out in the wind?
No, I actively avoid things like that.
That shit looked like a
I mean, you
frog.
can't act like him and not have a giant dick. I'm going to be honest with you
Get
guys.
that big dick energy.
Right. I mean,
You called it a forearm.
It's a 4. It was,
I'm just saying, man. I mean, yeah, you don't say shit like that unless you're, there's no way. There's no way a man like that has that much confidence.
you know what's funny is when he started, he looked like such a fucking dork too.
He's a dweeb.
No,
If Drake walked in here right now, I'd say, sit down and talk to us, but you're a goddamn dweeb. Like, we all know you're a dweeb. Like, I can respect your ethic and everything. I'm not saying you're any type, but you're a dweeb. What a dweeb. He's a little dweeb. I think I'd be like, hey, bud. Like, I don't know, but I think it's the Degrassi thing. I'm just like, Jimmy, come on. Don't you remember all those fake rap concerts you were trying to get to? Let's talk about it. Remember when JT got stabbed? It was heartbreaking.
Oh, it was.
It was the worst. That was a rough one. It really was. But no, yeah. What are you guys watching? Tell me.
fuck.
What's wrong with you and Mario? At
been
least he's
watching
like True Detective. Isn't it so good?
I'm on the last episode.
It's such. Oh my god. Francis Dollarhide, the Red Dragon shit.
yeah.
That's Manhunter. So I accidentally watched the. Yeah, they did a movie before. They did Red Dragon later on in the 2000s, but Manhunter's based off that.
Oh,
and
that's
that sequence, and Will Graham taking out Hannibal, but going after the Tooth Fairy. It's a whole thing. But yeah, Manhunter. It's
I gotta watch that.
creepy. It's very creepy.
You know,
8-year-old girls shouldn't be watching it. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
You know, I saw a leak. I don't know. It could be a leak. Or fuck, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'm saying the truth or not. But I saw that Henry Cavill got signed by Marvel earlier.
Would they do that?
To
Would
a
they
secret role.
Interesting.
I love him.
And
A secret role. I bet he was a villain.
oh yeah.
But why would you waste Henry Cavill? Unless you're going to make him some.
Unless he got.
Oh, you want to talk about Fantastic Four too?
Oh yeah, the Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, because
Four.
Gavin mentioned.
You saw the announcement on the.
Yeah.
Who else is there besides Eddie Munson and Pedro? I'm worried for
Vanessa
Pedro.
Kirby.
Vanessa Kirby.
Okay.
The other, and then
I like Pedro.
forget
Who's
the
the
other
thing?
role.
Wait, who's who?
Oh,
Who's Pedro playing?
Pedro's
Mr.
pretty.
Fantastic.
Okay, I'm worried for him. I love him.
Mike Rowe from the Punisher series is playing.
I know the
Big
torch.
Ron.
I know.
Barn?
I know
No.
the torch is
The Human Torch.
Eddie from
Is Eddie Munson from? Yeah.
Stranger Things.
So I'm looking up. It's Ebon Moss Backrack is playing the thing. I don't know. He's somebody who's
I just need to
playing.
see a pic of him.
He was on Girls. He was he played in the first season of Andor. If anybody saw that.
I didn't finish it.
He played Micro in The Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not Ben Barnes, right? That was
No.
somebody else. Wait, why did Michael Chiklis? Oh, because he played him before.
That was the one.
I was like, why is Michael Chiklis
He
popping
used
up?
to be the thing.
Marvel Fantasy 4. Blah, 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 blah.
Again, going back to the 2004 era of me watching.
How did Chris Evans get so lucky?
That shit.
Whiteness, right? It had to be. I mean, we love him, but
Human Torch, yeah.
yeah, Michael B. Jordan was in the other one, and I'm like, God, you guys got really lucky making the comeback. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan is a treasure too. No, but Pedro, I'm worried for. Okay, this is true. When Pedro Pascal showed up in Game of Thrones to play Oberyn Martell, and if you know what happens to him, happened.
Oh, I know.
That was when I was like, fuck this. Where are the goddamn fucking books? That's the death that set me off. I was like, I need the goddamn books before tomorrow because fuck this shit. This is the best guy that's shown up and now he's gone. I was like, this is bullshit. And so he's the one that got me into Game of Thrones, but like the books at least. I'm afraid we're going to get Pedro Pascal fatigue. I love him. I think he's great. But I'm like, are we going to get fatigue? Are people going to get sick of him? And I hope not.
By the time it comes out, it's not like
I just hope they didn't willy-nilly go because you're popping right now. We picked you. And either way, he's great.
I was on the fucking.
That's a lot to take on, everything he's doing.
I was on the John Krasinski fucking train, though.
Oh, that would have been sweet.
That should have been dope.
Yeah.
Him and Emily
I did like that.
Would have been nice.
I just want to see this guy's goddamn face. What's his name?
What, Ebon?
Oh, Ebon Moss-Bachrach?
Yeah.
Okay, can we get pics of you? Why are we making this so difficult? Okay, and then who... Okay, are they going to tie into the Agatha stuff? I don't even know, man. I got to whip out my fantasy.
I heard that it was...
Who is this bozo? Oh, he's in something.
I heard it's not an origin story, though. So I don't know how the heck they're... Like,
They're just going to be like, all right, they've been in existence.
they've been doing this.
I know there was a nod to them in Spider-Man or something where they were like, not the Oscorp building, the other one, and it's Reed Richards...
the Baxter building?
Yeah, the Baxter building. That's it. It might be Doctor Strange. Somebody says something though where they're like, make a left at the Baxter building or some shit like that. And I'm like, my mom loves the Fantastic Four, but I know this guy.
It looked like a fucking mugshot.
He doesn't look like a thing to me.
Well, he's
but
gonna be CGI.
I get it. Whatever. The thing better look good.
That's what she said.
Whatever, man. I will look into this guy later. But yeah, no. I'm disappointed in you guys not watching shows right now. No, I'm just kidding. But
I mean,
no.
I'm like rewatching
What are you watching?
Justice League on Netflix.
Oh, okay. I'm rewatching The Wire.
Throwback.
I might start rewatching fucking X-Men 97 that's going on.
Oh, yeah,
I'm excited
yeah,
about that
yeah.
It's getting put on what is Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm trying to think. I'm really excited for the Avatar shit coming to Netflix.
I don't know.
I'm nervous.
A lot of people.
I tell people this all the time. If you ever end up in an argument, this is a real thing. If you ever end up in an argument and someone's like, pick the greatest show of all time, and someone beats you to Breaking Bad, and you can't pick Sopranos or The Wire, and I mean this, I think Avatar: The Last Airbender is better than all those. And not only because Breaking Bad pitched itself to HBO, Showtime, all these things, and they thought we'll end up there. So they had a way more violence and shit in their scripts that they ended up having to redo it all because they all said buzz off. So they went to AMC, and AMC picked them up. And then they had to work with those restraints around them and still made it as good as, if not better than these other ones that didn't have those restraints. So I'm like, that's why Breaking Bad is a level up to me. Now let's times that by 10 with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a kid's show. And you still nailed everything in that. Like, I rewatched it with my mom, the cartoon one, like 2 years ago. I was like, watch this and genuinely tell me if... And there was a few times, I wouldn't call anything filler, but there's definitely a few times where she was like... But all the big stuff, she was in for that shit. And I do. I think it's one of, if not the greatest show ever made.
I haven't rewatched it as a...
But imagine that happening.
Growing up, but when I was a kid, I remember being already good.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Like,
it's
now,
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I'm like... If somebody came out and said, we're remaking Breaking Bad, we'd all go, excuse me? Then it better be fucking amazing. We're redoing Sopranos. People would shit a brick, right? But you say this because it's a cartoon. We're like, oh, it'll be like, maybe we'll give it a shot. But I'm like, this is a really great, and I'm worried. I think it's going to look great, but I'm like, remember that, I think a lot of things forget this, and this never did, that it's kids. Like, them being kids is a huge part of the story, and I'm like, don't make them so serious. Nobody's that serious at 10 or whatever the fuck, you know?
I think The Office is also getting a remake.
Why?
Which is like unnecessary.
Just stop.
Right.
Just quit while you're ahead.
Get some help.
Yeah, exactly. For real, though.
What's the timestamp on, Mario?
Or a few minutes until 2 hours.
Oh my God. Sorry.
That was
Anyways,
good.
on that note.
No, yeah. Well, that's coming on. I don't know what's exciting out there.
What do you have going on?
Oh, shit. Well, this will post at a different time, but we have our True Detective finale tonight. The finale's on tonight, so we'll be going live after that to talk nonsense and see if we're right about things, but I don't know. We're just over on YouTube. Motor City Nerds on YouTube, but Abby Anarchy on OnlyFans. Who fucking knows anything? I just yell about shit and then regret it later.
To this day, only guest we've had on that promotes the OnlyFans.
Really? What is wrong with all these jabronis? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. OnlyFans, Abby Anarchy, everything's spelled fine, and no IE bullshit in my name, ABBY. I'll put a deal up after.
Somebody would have asked for that too.
Yeah.
If you type in the code Legal Aliens, you get 10%.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I wonder if I can do that.
Damn.
Do they have that? I'm really gonna see. I'll let you guys know, and you guys.
We're gonna make that
so
cool. That's
awesome.
gonna be an interesting.
No, for sure. I'll let you guys know. 100%. I was just thinking that. I was like, I wonder if I can designate like 10
That's
people
funny.
to get a discount if we do something like that.
The official first sponsor to the podcast.
You know. No, I think it's really smart. When you guys brought that shit up before, I was like, that's smart to do like a group thing, and I'm telling you, man. I know dudes that just game in their boxers on there, so I'm like, I'm just saying, they make it easy.
Oh.
Not literally.
As you hit the camera, it's okay. I'm still good. Gavin and I are still good, right? When Gavin came back, we see.
And one day, Brian, I am gonna pick your brain about like Spanish speaking stuff. Just please don't take it weirdly. I'm telling you, I get geeked about stuff like that where I'm like, oh, if I found out somebody
You
can
know
speak
what?
something.
To this day, I've quit Enterprise about 3 years ago. I worked at an airport for about 3 years ago. I quit.
Okay.
They still call me to this day to translate for customers.
Wow.
Yep.
That's embarrassing though that they do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on, man. But then
All
you're
right.
like, I feel
But it's
bad
like-
because I would feel bad if I could speak
Sure.
another language. I'd feel awful. Be like, I want to help them, not
I
you.
only
You
do
know.
it mainly because of the people that are in the situation that they're renting a car and they
telling-
don't speak English.
This is a real thing. One of the times I felt the worst at Ford was they had parts checkers come in, and I was loading parts and had to order. But this guy, he didn't speak English at all, and he had like a little lady friend with him who she spoke that she wasn't around, and I could tell he was panicking. And I felt so goddamn bad, freaking out. I find the girl. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, tell me what the shit is happening. And she's like, oh, his wife went into labor. Like, it was nothing. And I was like, fuck you mean? His wife? And she was like, oh, and our boss won't let him leave. And I was like, no, you go get his goddamn boss. I actually work in this building, and I'm going to fucking say he can go. I was like, what's his job? What's he got to do? And then they were like, well, you know. And I was like, fuck you. You don't even belong here. You're just a goddamn... Let this guy go. And we got him out to go to his wife. It pissed me off. But I remember I felt so helpless, like... What's
Shout out
wrong?
to Ford Motor Company.
Yeah, shout out, fuckers. Shout out DTP Trimline 2. Fuck
Hey-o.
the UAW Local 600. Fuck you.
Oh shit.
Fuck them.
Bangers.
You're lucky that I don't want legal aliens in my bullshit.
Hey, we'll take that.
You know.